everybody, welcome to Pagers and Pages. If this is your first time joining us, we are medical students who read more than just textbooks. I'm Erin.
And I'm Alondra.
And today we are starting Fourth Wing.
Woo!
We've been dying to start this book forever.
Yes, we have.
We've been talking about it for at least a year, it seems like.
We actually really have.
Yeah.
It all started with us reading the Sarah J. Maas universe in different orders. So I started on Throne of Glass, Erin started on ACOTAR, and all of our friends started on different books and series. And we were like, never again.
Never again.
Because we had so much that we wanted to talk about with each other, but we couldn't because we hadn't gotten there yet, and spoilers and all that. So we were like, never again are we reading one of these super good books without everybody being on the same page.
Yes.
So we have been waiting to start Fourth Wing for forever. When we started the podcast, we thought that the previous two books we did, Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline, would be kind of like a good starter in a way to get all the kinks out and to know what our style is going to be.
Girl, we got some kinks out. That was for sure.
Yeah, we really did.
That book was something else.
and double.
Yeah.
Right? Double meaning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're super pumped to start Fourth Wing.
Yeah. And so if you haven't seen any of our previous episodes, basically through our journey in med school, we rediscovered that we enjoy reading, especially fantasy and romantasy genre stuff, as a little bit of an escape from the day-to-day stuff of med school, because it's stressful, they're long days. Even though we are doing what we want to do, it's just, it's nice to have a little bit of a brain break every now and then. And we actually really enjoy talking about the books pretty in detail, whether that be predicting what's going to happen, just fangirling over parts, or even analyzing, well, what do you think the author meant by wording things this way or that way. And because we like to go through it with that much detail, we do these episodes in 10 chapter chunks.
Yeah.
Just so that they're not a million hours long. They usually still end up being a couple hours, but so today we're covering the first 10 chapters of Fourth Wing.
Yep.
And I actually really love that this book just kind of throws you in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right away.
It feels like this is the first book in a really long time where I read chapter 1 and I was like, I'm hooked.
Yep.
I'm in it. And I think that that's actually pretty rare.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a couple books that, when I started reading one of the Sarah J. Maas books, I literally carried it around with me for 3 months and I would not read it. I would take it to the beach and then decide I didn't feel like reading it, and then read a little bit and then take it somewhere else and still not read it until it finally got to a point where I was in and hooked.
Yeah.
But this one, from the get-go, I was like, okay, things are happening and there's some twists and turns already in the first chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that Sarah J. Maas always delivers.
She does.
However, I gotta give her a minute in the first books.
Yep.
And usually that is because she's laying the groundwork for multiple books ahead.
And you just don't know it yet.
Yes. And you're like, okay, why are you telling me about this? It doesn't seem important yet.
Yeah.
But it actually is. And so I feel like that's one of the immediate shifts that I felt in this book, is that I was like, oh, we're
what's coming at
Plot.
you is 100% you need to know
plot.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part world building, but world building by throwing you into it and not explaining everything 100%. So there were things that were said in chapters 1 through 5 that I had questions about, what does this mean, yada yada yada. And then we get to chapter 10 and it's they explain this is what it is.
Yeah. And I think, to the author's credit, this is Rebecca Yarros. Apologies if I mispronounced that. But I think to her credit, I didn't feel as necessary. I didn't feel like I had to cling to all the details of the world building, because you're thrown into it, and they explain what the things are when it becomes relevant, right? So I felt a little less like I had to actually fully grasp the world right in the beginning.
Yes.
In order to move on and actually enjoy the story, because I will say, that was one of the hard things about Crescent City for me.
Absolutely.
Is that the world building was, a little rough in the sense that there was like a lot of government layers and structure that I was like, whoa, and I feel like if I don't understand this right away, I'm gonna be lost. So yeah, I feel like right off the bat we started very strong. And also for context, like you can see I am a hard book person, a hardback book person, and you're reading on Kindle.
I am reading
so
on
we
Kindle,
have like a little bit of a different experience with that. So I personally like that in the hardback. I think this is probably the one thing that I prefer about the hardback compared to like a Kindle is that you open up the book and like the map is really easy, like right there. I can flip back and forth to it pretty conveniently. So when there are those moments that they're introducing us to stuff in the world, it's like right there and easy. Yeah. And I don't know if when you were looking at this earlier that you noticed this, but so the very front of the book has like the overall like Navarre world map or whatever. And then when you turn to the beginning of the chapters, they have a layout of the quad. Like the college.
I saw that. So I didn't see it in your book.
Yeah.
I saw it in my Kindle version.
Okay.
So essentially like
they're up here, yeah.
They're up there. And that's like up across a mountain. This is the path that they have to go. Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially
this is the map.
When you're reading on Kindle, that's my one grievance with Kindle, that you can't like, at least I haven't figured out how to zoom into the pictures.
For it to be clear.
Because it's just like this teeny map.
Yeah.
And like I can't, it's not very comfortable to like go back and forth to it.
Yeah.
So that's why like when I came over, I asked Erin to like see the hard copy so I could look at the map. Because sometimes it's just it's good to orient yourself. So if they say like from here to here it takes 2 hours to travel, then it's like, okay, so then if somebody's over here, I have to expect that they won't get there until X, Y, and Z, like all this stuff. So it's just nice to kind of like get a lay of the land. If you will.
Or especially because this book is very like battle heavy. We're learning like war plans where people are stationed. And just for my sake, I like to understand lay of the land because then like I feel like it makes it easier for me to put myself in their shoes of like, oh, I see why they built their battle strategy that way, because it's like they have people here and they converge here and this, you know, like, so to me, the actually looking at the map is helpful. I know some people like read books and they're like, I don't even look at the map once.
Yeah.
But for me, at least, I'm a map girly. So you ready to dive into chapter 1?
I am.
Yeah. So I don't know. Does the Kindle do this too?
It does, and I love it. So there's like little quotes at the beginning of each chapter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to read out loud that one.
Yeah. So chapter 1, we have Article 1, Section 1 of the Dragon Rider's Codex, and it says, "A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead." And that's like the very first thing you read, and I'm like, ooh, so we've got dragons. Oh. Prefacing, we have know nothing going into these books. We've done very good knowing that we are wanting to read them. That
anytime something pops up that is like Fourth Wing, even a Fourth Wing adjacent, we're like, nope.
Scrolling.
Move past.
Yeah, because I know I had a big thing for Throne of Glass spoiled for me at one point.
Yeah.
And like just, you know, it's no fun to have spoilers. So so we are going into this like pretty blind. So at least we have something in the beginning about like there's dragons, there's riders. And so then we dive into chapter 1.
Diving right in.
Yeah. You want to go?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, okay. The first thing that we're kind of dropped into Conscription Day.
Yeah.
And it's basically when our female main character protagonist is essentially kind of like laying out what her day is going to be. And the fact that she is going to be, I wouldn't say like auditioning.
No, it's like, okay, you know what it reminded me of is in Divergent when they have their day where they end up, they get divided into factions. It's like the same thing where it's like you're either going to be a healer, a scribe, a dragon rider, or there's one other one that I'm blanking on. There's 4 of them. They talk about the healers and the scribes a lot. Or infantry.
Oh.
Yeah, there's the infantry quadrant, the scribe quadrant, the healer quadrant, and the rider quadrant.
Yeah, they really haven't talked about that at all.
No, yeah.
Interesting.
Because, yeah, the infantry is like the footman soldiers. So I think they're focusing more on like the dragon riders as like soldiers, and the infantrymen are kind of like frontline, like.
But I thought there was another front line that never even went to the war college.
That I don't remember. If that was a detail, then I totally like breezed past it.
I think that there's like front lines that they go straight into the battle.
Oh, and they don't even learn.
Go to the war college.
Oh, okay,
because you have to qualify in exams to be able to apply here.
Fair. So basically, we learn like our main character, whose name is Violet, is like college age. And
she's 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go through this day where it's like they basically come to the college and they apply or like sign up for which quadrant they want to be a part of, and then they have to do something to get accepted. So like if you're going to be a scribe, you have an entrance exam that you have to pass. That's a lot of history.
And people train and study for this like for their entire like lives. Like middle school to high school lives, essentially.
Yeah, for years.
And our main protagonist, Violet, she has always wanted to be a scribe.
Yeah.
And she has been like with the top of the line tutors since she was a kid, all in like the pursuit of being a scribe herself.
Yeah.
And then in chapter 1, we actually find out that Violet's mom, General Sorrengail, she is like this very top like official, and she wants her daughter to be a rider.
Yeah.
A dragon rider, to be more specific.
Yeah.
And so she basically 6 months before Violet is supposed to apply to school, she basically tells her, you're going to be a dragon rider, you're not going to be a scribe.
Yeah.
And it's like a whoa.
Yeah. Because for a little bit of like context, Violet is a very smart girl. She feels in her element when it comes to like academics and the scribe world. But Violet's whole family is dragon riders.
Yeah. Well, her older brother, her older sister, her mom are all dragon riders.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Violet's father is was a scribe.
Was a scribe. But he's passed away.
Yeah, he's passed away.
Yeah. So we get thrown into Violet on conscription day, like having to go talk to her mom, or who she now will have to always call General, because she's like they're going to throw her into the Rider Quadrant. And she shows up at the office before she's going to go sign up for the Rider Quadrant, and she hears two people talking, and it's like someone being like, you're going to get her killed. And it turns out that it's Violet's older sister, whose name is Mira.
Which I thought was so fun because like, Mira. So not because of that, but
she does say that a lot.
So we have like, okay, what's it called? K-pop Demon Hunters has already come out, and I don't think you've ever seen the movie.
No, I haven't.
It's a really great movie, and one of the characters' name is like Mira.
Oh, cool.
So it's really funny because in my head, it's like that character's face popped up, and I'm like imagining a certain character. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I have to like rewind all that and like pick a different. But the vibe is the same.
Yeah.
The vibe is the badass like tough girl. Energy.
She fits the rider, like
she fits
typical,
the rider description, like pretty like intense. And it's funny because as Violet's walking by and listening to her older sister tell her mom like, you're insane for like making her do this, she has a little bit of that like, of the inner voice being like, well, what the heck, like no one believes in me. But then it was so funny, I laughed out loud because she goes, she says like, because you need saving, you fool. Yeah. And when she says like you fool, it reminded me of like one of our friends. It reminded me of Michi. Yeah. Whenever she says you fool. Yeah. Yeah. And I just like cracked up at that. But
I thought you were gonna say it reminded you of Gandalf in Lord of the Rings when he's like, fly, you fool.
that's gonna be fitting in this book.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. And so like I feel a little bad for Violet because it's like she wants to fit in with her family. You can tell like she wants her family to like respect her, especially her mom. Yeah. But she's also kind of like shitting bricks. Like I kind of don't think I'm going to survive.
But she doesn't want this.
Yeah.
Like she at this point in time, like this is not what she wants. She's always wanted to be a scribe. Her dad was a scribe. her dad would take her into the library,
Yep.
and she like loved that place, and she's been training for this her entire life. It's like if all of a sudden, like, we've been training for medicine our entire life, whether we want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes in and is like, actually, you're gonna go to law school.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, I would rather.
Yeah, exactly.
I would rather do med school all over again than have to change and go to law school. That's kind of like what she is feeling right now.
Yep. And so basically, like, they're not able to convince her mom that Violet should not be a rider. And so Mira's basically like, all right, well, if this is going to happen, then you're going to need all the help that you can fucking get. Yeah. And I actually really appreciated that Mira was at least, like, prepared, like, basically anticipating her mom was not going to cave. Mm-hmm. So she gives her a vest that is made of Mira's dragon's scales, and they've been shrunk. Yeah. So it's like armor, basically. Yeah. And tells her, like, oh,
which
like,
I thought was insane. Very cool, very cool.
Yeah, because we were so early in the book, like, she was talking about the fact that the riders get, like, issued a uniform, and at first I was like, is she gonna get in trouble for having this? Mm-hmm. Like, but no, apparently, like, it's if it's black, like rider black, it's okay for you to have some of your own stuff.
Everybody, like, basically, like, everybody gets, like, the same base, and then it's up to you to customize, which you're allowed to do.
Yeah, okay. And then the other thing that was actually really smart about Mira, there are two things that I was like, ooh, you can just tell that this girl is, like, all about the, like, optimizing. Mm-hmm. So she paid attention to the weather and was like, it's gonna rain today. Mm-hmm. And the task or challenge that is ahead of Violet is called the Parapet, mm-hmm. which is like, if you're going to be successful in joining the Rider Quadrant, you have to cross this, like, rickety little stone, like, walkway, mm-hmm. Across with no railings or whatever. Yeah, it's like almost like a stone balance beam is like how I pictured it in my head, that it's like super narrow. How
skinny do you think it is?
I mean, they talk about all these people falling off, so I figured it was like a balance beam, maybe 6 inches, right? You know, like, it's got to be narrow. Because they're saying, like, the wind blows just right and people fall off of it, or like it's slick and it's definitely not like 2 or 3 feet wide. Yeah. You know, I was picturing it really narrow. Yeah. I don't know how you were picturing it, though.
I was picturing it narrow like a balance beam, but then when I saw the map, I was like, yeah, this might not be drawn to scale.
Correct. I don't think it was.
Because I was like, it looked like you could have 2 feet and on the thing
and be okay.
Yeah, no.
So Mira basically was like, your boots are going to be, like, the cause of your death, mm-hmm. because they had no traction, no, like, grooves on the bottom of it. They were smooth bottoms. Yeah. So Mira was like, change out of those and put on these boots that actually have grip to them, and you need to lighten your load because
you're too small to be carrying around such a ginormous, like...
She had all her books, and I was like, I would want to take my books too.
I know.
So Mira, like, basically helps her out and actually, like, gives her kind of a fighting chance. Because the thing about Violet is, like, she's very smart, but she's, like, very fragile. Like, she was not trained her whole life to be a fighter, so she's, like, very...
We learn a lot about that.
Yeah, like, I picture her, like, our size, you know, like, maybe just a little over 5 feet, if mm-hmm. that. Mm-hmm. She's very skinny, like, she breaks bones easily. Like, we learned that in the process of her, like, in the 6 months of her getting ready for Conscription Day, that she's, like, broken multiple bones and had a lot of problems with that.
Well, and even in chapter 1, we learned that her mother had a fever when she was pregnant with Violet, and they both almost died. And because of that, Violet has, like, this, she has, like, this, I would say, like, probably, like, condition that she is very frail. Like, her bones break easier. Her joints are kind of lax. Like, her ligaments are lax as well. Yeah. And I thought the medicine in me was like, ooh.
What does she have?
Is interesting. Yeah. What does she have? Like, what's going on? Yeah. Apparently, it took, like, she's paler than the rest of her family. Her eyes are pale. Her hair, it's like around she has really long hair, but once you get to the shoulder length, it basically starts, like, transitioning from brown to like this silver. Yeah. And
however, I don't think that is, like, from her being sick. I think that's their family genes, because she talks about like people in the Rider Quadrant cut their hair so that it's not something that can be used against them. And someone said to her, like, oh, don't you think you should cut your hair so that people don't know you're the general's daughter? And she said it doesn't matter. Like the transition point shows, no matter how short she cuts it, her hair always has a silver part in it. And they say that that's like how people know that she's General Sorrengail's daughter. So I thought it was like a family trait.
I don't think so. I think it's from the disease, and it's just that it's known that General Sorrengail has a daughter that has silver hair.
Oh, okay.
Because it says here, like, she says I wrote here, like, in one of the highlights, her mom, she picks up the end of my long braid, scoffs at the section just above my shoulders where the brown strands start to lose their warmth of color and slowly fade to a steely metallic silver by the ends, and then drops it. Pale skin, pale eyes, pale hair. Her gaze siphons every ounce of my confidence down to the marrow in my bones. It's like the fever stole all your coloring.
Oh.
Along with your strength.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I think it's that people know General Sorrengail has a daughter that has silver hair.
Fair enough. And it's like a very clearly defining feature.
Yeah, I mean, like, imagine.
Yeah,
like, it's like if somebody... I knew a kid in middle school that he had like a birthmark.
Yeah.
And that like where he had his birthmark, like he had blonde hair, and the rest of his head was brunette.
That starts with a W. There's a syndrome for that.
Are you thinking of like Wattenberg or?
No, I was gonna say Wagner's, but
yes, but that's not. But it's the birthmark, but it's not necessarily like that hair grows there.
No, but I'm saying like the blonde streak is like a trait I'll have to look it up after this, because there was some condition that we learned about where they specifically have like a streak that is like not pigmented.
Okay.
Like the rest of their hair.
The one that you said was the wine bottle stain.
The port wine?
Yeah,
that's not the one that I'm thinking of. Anyway,
okay.
I digress. So the last like tidbit that Mira gives Violet is to find this guy named Dane Ados, which...
Okay, I'm so glad that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it's Dane, but also, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to say his last name. Yeah,
no,
his first name's definitely Dane.
Yeah. But sometimes, ever since, like...
Kale. Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Or even, like, Manon. Like, ever since that, I'm like, forget it. I obviously don't know how to say even the simplest names.
And then I was torn between if his last name is Ados or Edos. And I think the AE is more Ados. So that's how I've been saying it. But anyway, like, all we know is that it's someone that Mira tells her to find, and like he will help her survive in the Rider Quadrant.
And there's a little bit like she gets excited, like, oh my gosh, I forgot that I was gonna be able to see Dane.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
who's this? Yeah.
What's going on here?
Exactly. But the reason that Mira is like, you need to find him and he will protect you, is because the Rider Quadrant is like cutthroat.
Brutal.
Because not only is it a challenge to get there, because they have to cross this like 200-foot long balance beam that goes over like a 200-foot drop down into a gorge.
That has like water
running through it. Yeah.
A river. Yeah.
Very clearly, like you can die, and many people do die. They say like about a quarter.
It's like what, 26% actually like gets to the Rider's Quadrant.
No, flip it.
A quarter of them die.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Going across it, and that's on like not a rainy day.
Yeah.
You know, that's like on a normal day. So they not only do they have like a strong chance of dying just to get there, but then once they get into the Rider Quadrant, they're kind of competing with each other to be the best of the best, so that a dragon eventually picks them and like wants to bond with them. So also like some of the people who make it to the Rider's Quadrant will like kill other students or like purposely sabotage them. So like it's not a environment where you can let your guard down. Like you constantly have to be worried about somebody trying to get you. And so that's basically why Mira's like, you're gonna need help and someone to like have your back.
And she says, don't form friendships, form alliances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like kind of like, it really hammers like home the idea of like, you're not here to make friends, you're here to form bonds and like relationships, because you're gonna need them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then she says one thing that's very like interesting. She like her gaze hardens on her sister Violet, and she says, let's see. She says,
what page are you on?
I'm on page, I don't know actually. Essentially, she's talking about this person, and she says, "Stay the hell away from Xaden Ryerson."
Yeah.
And she's like, Violet's like, I know that name, and it's basically he's a third year at this point at the War College,
which is like a senior.
Yeah, a senior. And then she says, he is basically the son of the Great Betrayer.
Yeah.
And that is a man who led a rebellion against the current governing body of like this territory that we're in.
Yeah.
And so as a way of punishing the kids of the people who were in the rebellion, after killing all of them, they basically took the kids and forced them into the Rider Quadrant.
Yeah.
And part of it was a way of they didn't think that these kids would actually survive.
Yeah, it's like either they're gonna die easily, and then we're getting rid of people who are like rebellion blood.
Yeah.
Or they're like conscripted to work for us, and in the most like loyal sense, because the dragons care so much about protecting their area that it's like impossible for a rider to rebel is like the idea. Yeah.
So there's this thing called the Veil, and dragons, the only reason dragons even interact with humans is because of this kind of like symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Where they want to desperately protect the Veil against like their enemies.
So it's like their mating grounds, like their home little sanctuary for the dragons. And they're like, all right, like you help us protect it, and we will like help you keep your borders defended. Like we will fight with each other kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's like, we already know, okay, there's potentially like a romantic interest, potentially like a villain interest, like, and that's all laid out pretty quickly. And then she like gets in line to sign up for the Rider Quadrant and meets like a couple people.
Yeah.
The first one, for anyone who's read Throne of Glass, I immediately was like, Croaking Witch, because her name is Rhiannon, and it's spelled the exact same way as the Rhiannon that's in Throne of Glass. Mm-hmm. And then I had to tell myself, wait a minute, different book series, different author, different universe, like everything.
It's just a name.
It's just a name. But like, what are the odds that it's the same name? You
know?
It's
a good name.
It is a good name. Yeah, it is a good name.
Yeah, it's a good character name because it stands out.
Yeah. And she's kind of like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Like, I've been training for this my whole life. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And Violet's like, good for you.
Yeah. Like, she really is. So basically, it's like, if you want to be a writer, it's 100% voluntary.
Yeah.
Like, no one...
Except for the rebellion
Except for
kids.
the rebellion kids and Violet, because her mom's forcing her, so it's not truly voluntary. So a lot of people are actually really excited, and they think that they have what it takes to make it.
Yeah.
And so here we also meet a guy named Dylan.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just have to point out that this is still chapter 1.
This is a beefy chapter.
It is a beefy chapter. It's still chapter 1. And here it says, Dylan literally says, I'm not dying.
And never say that.
Never say that in a book series.
Never
You're
say
officially gonna die.
Yeah.
So he has this like necklace that has like a ring dangling from a chain, and he basically says that like she said that it would be bad luck if he proposed to her before he left. So he has the ring he was going to propose to her with around his neck, and it's like a promise.
Yeah, like this girl that he loved back home.
Yeah.
Oh.
And spoiler alert.
Bad omens. It's just bad omens all around.
We're still in chapter 1, but it doesn't take long for...
That's like...
For my prophecy and my predicting to be accurate.
The things that are always red flags for me that someone's gonna die in like a fantasy book is either you say like, I'm not gonna die, or you're like, we have so much time.
Yes. Oh my God, stop. Every time, especially when it's a romantic couple, that's like, we have all the time in the world. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
One of them is going down.
One of them is going down for sure. You do not have all the time in the world.
Yes, absolutely. So it's like, anytime someone says one of those things, I'm like, oh, you're gonna die.
No, for
you're
real.
Gonna die. And so I actually really like Violet in this moment. I think like this is the moment that sold for me that Violet's a homegirl and I'm going to like her. Is that she immediately, like, enjoys Rhiannon's company and is like, I actually really like this girl. I don't know why, but I trust her. And, like, I actually, even though I shouldn't make friends, I should make alliances, like, I want to be friends with her and I want her to survive making it across the parapet. And she sees that Rhiannon has basically the same boots that she had on before that are, like, slick on the bottom. And she's like, look, it's gonna rain. The clouds are, like, brewing. Take one of my boots. And basically, like, we switch where we each wear one of each other's boots. And then you have some grip. But Rhiannon makes this, like, split-second decision to be like, you know what? I like you and I trust you. And I think you're smart about the boots. And ultimately, the one who's gonna die if I don't switch boots with you is me.
Yeah. Because she realizes that the thought process is logical.
That it is gonna rain.
It does look like it's gonna rain. Yep. And her boots are, like,
not good.
No traction on the bottom of them. So
yeah. So yeah, they've, like, switched boots, and now I pictured this, like, old-timey castle when they have to get up to where the parapet is, because they have to get high enough to cross. So I pictured them going up this, like, old castle where it's, like, a winding staircase.
Kind of like a lighthouse in a way.
Yeah.
Like, you know how it's, like, that's like, cylinder, like, going up and around and around and everything. And I imagine it's, like, cold. And a little creepy. It's gonna rain, so there's a little bit of moisture in the air. And then you're just, like, climbing up to, like, your possible death. Like, Violet is, like, I could die right now. And everybody else is like, wow, I'm gonna be a rider. And it's, like, this, like, blind optimism. Yeah. Watch out for it.
I know. I think, honestly, one of the things that will get people killed in this world is having the mindset of, oh, it's not going to be me. Yeah. Yes, statistically, I get that, like, about a quarter of people die going across this, like, stone beam, but, like, it would never be me. I'm too good for that, you know? And that's going to get you killed. That kind of attitude will get you killed.
Yeah, it is going to get you killed.
I feel like, realistically, Violet's attitude of being like, I'm not going to die today because I'm going to make sure I don't die today because I very easily could die today is what will save her, you know? Like,
it's like the being prepared.
Yeah. And we've learned that she's smart but fragile. So it's...
Smart but fragile.
Yeah. But she gets to the top and they keep a list, basically, of, like, on the side that they start on. I don't know what's going on with me today. I'm, like, stuttering a bunch. But on the side that they start on to go across the parapet, there's current Rider students who are, like, keeping a log of names, and then there's Rider students on the other side that are keeping a log of names. And then at the end, they're like, well, this name was on our list before, and it's not on the list after, so that person is one of the people that, like, fell and didn't make it. Yeah. So, like, okay, at least they keep a log of, like, who lives and who dies. But it's, like, basically the only way that the people who die are, like, recognized. Yeah. You know, like, they don't really do anything other than read the list of names of people who died. Yeah. It's a very, like, emotionally detached Rider Quadrant.
Yeah, if you weren't strong enough to survive, then you're just a footnote.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, Violet's, like, working her way up the tower.
Yeah, she is.
And she's, like, trying not to freak out. She's keeping herself together. And then she sees...
there's, like, 3 students that she sees. Yeah. And the third... Okay, so this is, like... It was so funny. I was cackling when this was happening. Because it's, like, every author is, like, he's evil. He's a villain. He's gonna kill you. But he's also beautiful. And you're just sitting there like, bro, are you serious? So she's, like, going up the steps, and she goes, the third turns in my direction, and my heart simply stops. And I'm like, what? What? And she goes, he's tall, with wind-blown black hair and brown and dark brows. The line of his jaw is strong and covered by warm, tawny skin and dark stubble. And when he folds his arms across his torso, the muscles in his chest and arms ripple, moving in a way that makes me swallow. And his eyes are the shade of gold-flecked onyx.
That sounds beautiful. I don't know.
That did sound beautiful. I was like, what?
I don't know any person in real life who has black eyes with gold flecks in them.
Yeah.
But also, I read that and I was like, witch. Because you remember how like Manon has the gold in her eyes? I was like,
she's a witch. She's a witch.
He's a witch. I'm just like convinced everyone in this book is a witch.
And she's like, it's startling, jaw-dropping even. Everything about him is. His features are so harsh that they look carved, and yet they're astonishingly perfect. Like an artist worked a lifetime sculpting him, and at least a year of that was spent on his mouth. I literally was like, girl, put your tongue away. You are drooling.
Not me sitting here going, eh.
She's flat out drooling.
Yeah.
You are too.
Yeah. And
I'm like, girl, you might die right now. Is this really the time? Absolutely it was.
It's like they're having this like moment where it's like electric, but also electric because it's violent, because he's like, oh, you're the Sorrengail daughter. And she's like, oh, well, you're the Ryderson's son. And he's like, you killed your parent killed my parent, and now I have it out for you.
Well, no, and you know what I new tidbit of information that we didn't know. She goes, your dad killed my brother, so I guess we're even.
Yeah.
Because it actually started like his dad, for what we don't know how, but his dad killed her older brother.
Yeah.
Which they all like adored and loved, and and then her mom was like, I'm gonna kill the person that killed your brother.
Yeah.
And that's how we're in this position right now.
Is that they've all got like blood beef, basically.
Yeah, it's
They're
a blood
like,
feud.
Yeah, there you go. That's the word I was looking for.
I got you.
Yeah. And the chapter ends with him being like, well, it's your turn. And he's kind of like smug, like, might not even live across this, and like I would be satisfied to see you fall and die kind of thing is like the vibe that he's giving off when he's like, your turn. And so yeah, that's how the chapter ends.
Yeah. What a way to end the chapter.
I know, but also like what a beefy chapter for the first chapter.
Oh yeah.
You know,
these chapters are huge.
Yeah, but I love it. Okay, so chapter 2, we get Major Offendera's Guide to the Rider's Quadrant, the unauthorized edition.
Oof,
and he or she says there's a misconception that it's kill or be killed in the Rider's Quadrant. Riders, as a whole, aren't out to assassinate other cadets unless there's a shortage of dragons that year or a cadet is a liability to their wing. Then things may get ... interesting. So basically they are supposed to have loyalty to each other. And the only time that they really should be fighting is if they're like, this person is clearly a weak link and need to go,
because they're gonna cost us like dying out in battle.
Yeah, like they will cost us in the future. Or there's only a certain number of dragons every year that are like looking for a rider, and so if they're like, oh, there's 100 students but only 50 dragons, then they're like, we're gonna kill each other so that I get a dragon. And even then, if there's 50 dragons and 50 students, even then the dragons can be picky and be like,
and
not choose anybody and not like them. Yeah.
Which I find to be very interesting, because I'm like, okay, so killing someone doesn't guarantee that you're gonna be any more or any less of a rider.
No.
So it's like what's the word? The logic behind the bloodshed is stupid.
It doesn't make you more or less valued or like worthy of bonding a dragon,
because it's whether a dragon likes you or not, and a dragon doesn't have to bond with anybody. They can they can see the pool, not like anybody, and
they'll be like around. Probably next year, because the dragons also live to be like hundreds of years old. So they're
which
like,
I thought was a really cool tidbit that they like.
They're like, there'll be another one at some point that I like better, so I'm not choosing any of you. Can totally happen. But chapter 2 is Violet's crossing the parapet.
Oh yeah. And I like her little mantra, I will not die today.
Yeah. Oh, because we skipped something that happened in chapter 1. Is that the guy,
it already happened.
Yeah, the guy Dylan, who had like his love interest necklace. He was
ring
in front of Rhiannon. And
they saw he slipped and they saw him fall to his death.
Yeah, because it started raining and he had slick boots on, and he slipped and fell and died. So Violet's like, whew. So like she knows
already we know the stakes are high.
Yeah,
because we just met not only did we just meet somebody who was super nice, somebody who had a lot to look forward to in life, and someone who he was real positive about the next steps, and boom, he's dead, like, and just like that.
And someone who's like been training for this like his whole life.
Yes,
you know. True. So like she's like, oh shit, like he was pretty qualified and pretty confident, and I am not, and so
let's see how we get through this.
But it's like, well, death is behind me because either I stay with Xaden and wait for him to kill me, or I go across and possibly fall to my death.
Yeah,
at least.
And already, like, we didn't mention this, but as she's going up the stairs, like, there's the guy behind her is being a complete and utter like jerk face. He's already like saying stuff to her and like kind of like pushing her buttons.
He's like cocky, you know, like I'm the best.
Yes.
Like,
and then he finds out that she's a Sorrengail.
Yeah. And for whatever reason that just makes him have beef with her. Yeah.
I think it's like jealousy.
Yeah, I think so. Because we don't ever learn that he's a like Xaden, one of the rebellion kids. So
he's not.
He doesn't it's like he doesn't have as much reason to have beef. As at least with like the blood feud, you're like, I get it. It might still be a little silly, but at least like, okay, I get it. He's just an ass. Mm-hmm. Like, he just is like, I'm the best of the best, and heaven forbid someone be even the possibility of a threat, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I think it's like jealousy because although I have empathy for Violet in this moment, like, this protagonist is not the protagonist that grew up on an outskirt of a village who had to claw their way up from like rags to riches. No, this is a protagonist who is very intelligent, very well educated, in part thanks to the privileges that she's had because of who her mother and her father were.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with. In fact, she's actually very likable.
Yeah.
And like, what I'm trying to say is, I expect more from her because she had more resources.
Okay, gotcha.
Which we come to find out, she has more resources than the average person. We don't know about it just yet, but she does.
Yeah.
And then something I wanted to mention to you, after reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't want to hear anything about it, I just gotta say that chapter 1, I cried. Like, I had teary eyes in chapter 1.
Or Akatar.
No, chapter 1 of this book. Because
girl,
the way... I don't know. But the way that it just warmed my heart to see, like, the sister bond. Like, an older sibling taking care of a younger sibling. And, like, loving them, like, deeply. And looking out for them. And it's not a... You're my younger sibling, and you're annoying, and you need to do this, and you're my younger sibling, I absolutely love you. Here is everything that I could possibly give you to make you successful. Yeah. Like, please come back home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is amazing.
And then the immediate, like, her and Rhiannon being friends, too, I was like, she's not going to be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Rhiannon goes before Violet.
Yeah.
She's going across first, and she's like, do, and then eventually, like, Violet has to go. And of course, everybody that she tells her name to, they're all like, oh, you're the Sorrengail daughter? Like, and it gets old after a while that she is like, yes. How many times do I have to say it? Yes. That my last name is Sorrengail. Where do you think I came from?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not a common last name. There's only a few of us. Mm-hmm. That is my family. And she just is always every time like,
it's me.
Like,
hi, I'm the problem, it's me.
Yes. So she is like, okay, it's time for her to go. And then we learn that the guy behind her, his name is Jack Barlow. And he's like, remember my name. I'm going to be wing leader one day. And you're like, freaking little brat. Like, I just don't like his energy. Mm-hmm. And so Xaden says to Violet, like, as she's walking, he's like, you better get going. And you see that, like, Jack is starting to basically, like, chase her across this balance beam because he's like, I want to be the one responsible for her death kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, shit, I better get moving.
Yeah.
So she's, like, hauling tail across the Parapet, and she's keeping herself sane by telling herself like history facts.
Yeah.
Like keeping herself from not freaking out by being like, the history of our kingdom is this. And like,
which
you know,
I actually really liked because I was like, oh, what a wonderful way of world building in the middle of action.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, tell me more about like, I don't even know what she said, but there was some good stuff in here. Like, there was stuff about like the war. Oh, she gave a little bit more backstory about the war.
Yeah, that there's 2 kingdoms. So she lives in Navarre.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like other provinces. So there's Tirandor, Krovla, and Krovla is the one that borders the other kingdom, which is the Paromial kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah. And they've been at war for 400 years.
Yeah. And we also learned there's the Breivik province, Signuson, and then there's like the Esben Mountains. And so like she's building the little bit of the world that you're like, okay, cool. So like I can look at the map and now be like, okay, so these provinces make sense that they're the ones that are bordering the Paromial kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or the I might have just misread that. Yeah, Krovla is the province that is within the Paromial kingdom, like the enemy kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, she's like spitting all these facts, trying not to like look down or like freak out that this guy's trying to chase her across the balance beam. Mm-hmm. It's, of course, starting to rain, thundering, super windy, just chaos.
Yeah.
Peak like adrenaline chaos already right here in the beginning of chapter 2. And I was like, yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
Chaos. Yeah. So Jack turns around and grabs the boy that started walking after him across the balance beam. Jack goes back, grabs him, and throws him off.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, he really is going to throw Violet to her death if he gets to her.
Yeah. And the fact that's like, I just feel like that should be like that already is a sanity check. Like, the writers, after seeing him for no reason turn around and grab somebody and throw them off, should have been like, you're unstable. There's no way that we're allowing you to join this, like, because unit. Because at the end of the day, when they become a unit, they need to be able to work together. And someone who turns around to somebody that they don't know, just met, and it's not even that the person, because the whole point is, okay, you're a weak link, so we're gonna get you so that we don't die in battle because of your weakness. The guy didn't even start the balance beam. He very well could have made it all the way and then died at a later point in time, or even died on the balance beam. But we won't know what he was capable of because this guy just went over and like knocked him off.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, that's
him.
Unstable.
Yeah, that's fair. So then he's like, I'm coming for you. And she's like, oh no. And of course, and we get this moment of adrenaline of like Rhiannon kind of slips a little bit and is okay, but keeps going. Mm. And then like Violet has some moments of like the wind is blowing really hard and she kind of slips a little bit.
She hits her knee.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah, because she's like, any one of us might have like been okay from just like banging your knee. Yeah, have a bruise, but it like really hurt her knee because she's so fragile. Mm-hmm. So anyway, she like is able to make it across. And is this the part with? No, okay. So she makes it across. Mm-hmm. And he's still like running and he's like, I can still kill you just because you made it across, basically. Yeah. And that's like how the end of the chapter. Yeah. I don't know if you had anything else for chapter 2.
No, that's it.
This chapter was like short, but like I'm reading it like, what's gonna happen?
Oh yeah.
Who's gonna die?
Just like, what's gonna happen?
So we start chapter 3 with Colonel Kaori's field guide to Dragonkind, which we learn that Colonel Kaori is there like, he reminds me of like a Fantastic Beasts professor where he's like teaching them about the dragons basically. So he's written this guide that tells you about like the different types of dragons. And so we get this excerpt at the beginning of chapter 3.
And when I was reading this, I was like, this is going to be important.
Yeah. So blue dragons descend from the extraordinary Gormphalia's line. They're known for their formidable size. They're the most ruthless, especially in the case of the rare blue dagger tail, whose knife-like spikes at the tip of their tail can disembowel an enemy with one flick. And you're like, dang, that's ruthless.
I literally was reading it. I was like, so who's gonna get the blue dragon?
Yeah.
I'm like, is Violet gonna get the blue dragon? Does Dane have a blue dragon?
Yeah.
Like, who has
maybe
the blue
Rhiannon? Like,
Rhiannon,
who knows?
maybe. Yeah. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. So Violet has like landed on the other side of the parapet. She's made it to the quadrant, and Jack is still like hot on her trail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, she makes like a badass move.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. You want to tell us what happened?
So basically, he's being, just like your classic like antagonist, and she has her dagger and she takes it and she literally like points it directly at his scrotum, and she's literally like could easily just like pierce his scrotum.
Yeah.
In like a quick like slice,
because he's like coming to charge for her,
and he's taller than her, so she literally barely has to move her arm. She's like,
yeah, because I picture she's like rolled like off of the balance beam, is like in there, and he's like running, and he doesn't know that she's like packing knives, because they're concealed in like sheaths on her, and she whips one out, and like as he's like going to lunge for her, she's like and like puts it right against his nutsack, and he's like, oh crap, like you move and she's gonna cut his balls off, basically.
I wonder if she should have just thrown the knife at him.
I mean, she would have saved herself the trouble of having an enemy.
Because he would have fallen off the balance beam for sure.
Yeah, that's what one of the girls that is like an already established rider that's like taking names at the other end. She's like, that one's going to be a problem for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she gets in there and Rhiannon's like celebrating like, we made it. And they're swapping boots back. And all of a sudden someone's like, Violet? And it's Dane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so it begins.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's like happy to see him. And he's like.
And Dane knows everything. Like they're childhood friends.
Yeah.
He knows everything about her condition. So he's like, why are you here? Like, I'm happy to see you, but why are you here?
Yeah. Because his dad works for Violet's mom.
Yeah.
He's like her like. I don't want to use the word escort because I feel like that has like a sexual connotation to it, but he's like her like protector, like her guard, right?
You know what? I actually don't remember off the top of my head. I think it was kind of like he's like maybe a general under her,
like
he's
her,
someone
like
important. He's not just a guard,
and he's like paired to her. That it's like wherever she goes, he goes. Yes.
He gets stationed as well.
Yeah. So Dane and Violet like grew up together, going everywhere.
Yeah.
So they're very close, and like Dane obviously knows like that Violet was training to be part of the Scribe Quadrant. Like she is not supposed to be here, and he's a year older than her. So he was at the conscription day last year to become a rider. So he's now...
So he's made it at least 1 year,
exactly.
Which is nice.
So he's now becoming a second year.
Yeah. And then what we didn't talk about is that Violet, she like describes him very like, oh, kind eyes and a kind smile and like golden brown hair. And like she's like...
Yeah.
She's like, he's my best friend. And I'm sitting here like, girl.
I think what the word you're looking for is crush.
Yeah. I'm like, girl.
I don't know that
I don't know the way you described it. And then she's like describing him now. It's like his like smile is harsher. Like
he's
everything.
Got scars now.
Yeah. Everything about him is just a little bit more rugged because of being in the Rider's Quadrant. But she's like, oh, but when I see him, like, yeah, it's still Dane.
He's my man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay.
So then he kind of is like, we need to get you out of here. And she's like, wait a minute. Like, it's kind of like she gets the little moment of a little bit insulted.
She's like, but I made it.
Yeah.
I made it. Why do I have to go?
Yeah. She has like the little, like, I know that this is like, I shouldn't be here. But also like, if I go back, my mom's just going to throw me in anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no point.
Yeah.
And also like, I just made it. She's like riding the adrenaline of like, I just made it.
Yeah.
I made it through this like chasm with I made it through a balance beam in the middle of the rain, and I escaped this random dude trying to kill me for no reason whatsoever. and I saw someone die, and I didn't die, and I feel like since I didn't die, I should keep going.
Like, I've earned my spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I went through just like everybody else. So she has like a little bit of the insult of like, excuse me? I'm here.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm terrified for you. You have no idea what's to come.
Are you wanting my opinions of Dane now or a little later?
I think a little later.
Okay.
Because I have opinions also.
And it's probably the same opinions.
I don't know, but like, let's see.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think so.
Oh, interesting. I have a feeling that you will at least have the same sentiment as me. Like,
probably.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, he's freaking out, basically.
Oh, yeah,
that she's here. Like, he's borderline, like, having a panic attack. He's like, damn it, Violet, why are you here? Oh, your mother, and like this and that. And we're like, oh my God, like, calm down, son.
He's like my best friend gonna die.
Yeah. So anyway, he helps her, like, wrap her busted knee so that she's at least not limping all over the place. And she's telling him, like, ooh, you look different. Like, yeah.
I know, she's a little flirty.
She is
like
flirty.
That she is, though.
She's
fun.
She is flirty because also, like,
she's fun to read about.
They kind of give the impression that the people in the Rider's Quadrant live their life, which is like, they
like
know,
the Ted Lasso meme.
Like, they know that they could die at any minute because one, they're trying to kill each other, and then two, it's like once they're bonded to a dragon, like they could easily be like conscripted for war if they're needed, like even if they're not done with their like training at the college. So like they are very much like living life in the moment kind of people. So if they see someone that they like, they have sex with them. It's very straightforward. They're like, you're cute, I'm cute.
We might die tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's live tonight.
Yeah, and so she's kind of like, oh, like, what? He's saying something to her about, like, you can't, like, get with anyone that's, like, not first years kind of thing. And she's like, are you interested in my sex life? And he's like getting, like, because she makes a joke, like, he's, like, telling her basically, like, your mouth is going to get you in trouble kind of thing. Because she's trying to be like, oh, well, like, I made it and this and that. And he's like, your mouth is going to get you in trouble. And she's like, you want to see what else this tongue can do?
Oh, gosh. I was like...
Yeah.
But also, fully enjoyed reading that.
It's very clear that they are not just friends. Like, they are, like, at least flirty friends. You know? Like, maybe, like, never officially an item before. But, like, definitely, like...
It's like the best friend that a significant other has. They're like, it's just my best friend. And you're sitting there like, no, it's not.
Clearly you're not, yeah. Okay, and he's kind of like telling her, like, you shouldn't be here. And he's like, you shouldn't be here. Like, you're going to die. And she's like, she's kind of like getting angry at him. Like, what do you mean? Like, they're going to see me as a liability? Like, just say it. And he's like, you know, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to prevent you from dying.
Yeah.
So they have this little, like, beef of a moment. But anyway, she has to go back to this thing where they're, like, meeting in the courtyard with their commander. And their commander is, like, there's 301 of them that survived the Parapet that day to become cadets. 67 people did not make it.
It's a big number.
Yeah, which is almost 20%. Apparently that's high. So maybe it wasn't 25% of people normally die. Maybe it's 15% of people normally die crossing. But anyway, she was like, oh my God, like, it must have been the rain or the wind or something, because this is, like, higher than average to have that many people die. So anyway, we learned that that's how many people died. And now they have to get divided up. They have squads within sections, within wings. Yep. So, like, the wing is the biggest, and the squad is the smallest, with sections in the middle. And we learned that Dane is
I think a section leader?
A section leader.
Squad leader or something like that.
Well, which one was it? Because
it was, like, I just saw it.
Let's see. because he's a second year, and it's like rare for a second year to have a leadership position.
Yes.
It's not that important, but
it's not. But he, lo and behold, our dear Dane, he is like above average.
Yeah, of course. Probably in more ways than meets the eye.
Took the words out of my mouth. But anyway,
we learn that because he has a leadership position,
he has some pull. Some people owe him some favors.
Yeah,
he's like, he basically says like, put Violet and Rhiannon in my squad / section.
Yeah.
And so one of the girls is like, okay, and she does it for him.
Yeah, that's how he gets Rhiannon to like leave them alone for a little bit.
So essentially, okay, let's talk. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna talk more about like what happens in this moment with like them getting assigned to where they're going.
Yeah, so like biggest thing of this moment is like they're getting assigned, and I think they were originally in Wing 2.
Second wing,
right?
Yeah.
And then
like Dane is a section leader in second wing. Yeah.
And then of course Miss Violet makes eye contact with Xaden.
Mm-hmm.
And this man has like this, like he makes eye contact with her and she doesn't look away. And he has this like kind of like devilish like grin. And she sees him whispering to someone and like him talking back and forth with someone. And then all of a sudden their section gets swapped.
Yep.
From second wing to fourth wing, which is his.
He's the wing leader.
He is the wing leader. He is like the pinnacle of the formation.
Yeah.
So she is now under his jurisdiction.
And he trumps Dane. Yeah. Oh, and of course, I'm like, of course she gets moved to his wing. Like,
I mean, would it be if she didn't, it would be disappointing.
Yeah, okay,
you know, there's like little things that you can predict in books that like you predicted and you're like, oh, of course this happened. Okay, but if it didn't happen, would you be sad?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Oh. And then we get this awesome moment of also a little show of like
power.
Kind of power, yeah, but it's like it's very good of putting them in their place because they just made it across the parapet and they're all like, yeah, like I'm invincible. And so they're like gathered in this courtyard and the commander like has these dragons come and like perch around the courtyard and they're like looking like they're gonna eat these kids basically.
Yeah.
And they're all like, I'm no longer invincible.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm gonna die.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Xaden who was given like part of the speech. He's like,
yeah.
You feel invincible, right?
Yeah.
And then like roars. Yeah. You think you can do this, right? And then like roars.
Yeah.
And then like I think it's like one of the cadets apparently like gets scared.
Yeah.
Like by the dragons and just is like, forget this, and like tries to run and make a beeline.
Yeah.
And the dragons just like light them on fire.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't just one. First of all,
there were a few.
Why would you think that the best thing to do in that moment is to run away, like separate yourself from the group so that you become a target?
Yeah. Yep.
Come on now.
And that's why Xaden is like, you're not untouchable or special to them. To them, you're just prey. Yeah. Like, basically, like, know your role, learn your place, like, take this seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how that chapter ends.
Yeah.
That's chapter 3.
It was a great chapter.
Yeah. That was a great chapter. Okay. So now, moving into chapter 4, we get another little snippet from Major Offendra's Guide to the Rider's Quadrant, the unauthorized edition. Mm-hmm. And it says, the sparring ring is where riders are made or broken. After all, no respectable dragon would choose a rider who cannot defend themselves, and no respectable cadet would allow such a threat to the wing to continue training. So it's like, they're basically saying, like, they get put up against each other, like, in a fighting ring, and it's like, their job to basically look at each other and be like, you're weak. It's my job to now like eliminate you in this setting kind of thing, which is terrible. But yeah. Okay. Chapter 4. Let's see. Do you have any notes to start us off in chapter 4?
The only thing that I wanted to say is going back to chapter 3, Xaden, it's like there's like this little thing about like a navy dragon leaning in forward as he's talking.
The blue dragon.
And it makes me think that that's his dragon.
And
that's not confirmed yet.
It's not confirmed, but this dragon, where is it at?
It looks at Violet, and it kind of like it's like it's making an assessment of her in that moment.
Yes, but I wanted to. There was something specific like about the way that they said it, where it's like, oh yeah, it's tilting its head at me as if it's narrowed. Yeah, as if its narrow golden eyes can see straight through me, to the fear fisting my stomach and the doubt curled insidiously around my heart. And it's like looking at her, kind of like, huh. It's like the way that I kind of pictured it, where almost like the dragon is like, interesting. Was not new. Like, this is a turn of events. Yeah, like, or like this person is different.
I wonder if it can sense the different thing about Violet, and like maybe just in her energy, maybe in her like physical appearance, but also like there's something like, who knows what they sense? Yeah. Who knows if they sense intelligence, bravery, courage, and like maybe a little bit of her physical weakness, like who knows? And
we learn like they are cognizant, because they like, once you're like a bonded rider, you talk to them like telepathically or whatever. And she basically is like, I'm not gonna let this dragon scare me now.
And she kept staring at it,
and like kind of like lifts, like puffs her chest and at it, and the dragon is like, and then like goes back to paying attention to Xaden talking. I was like, that was an interesting interaction.
Which also makes me think it's his dragon.
Which also makes me wonder, like, what did the dragon and him talk about her?
Oh, interesting.
Like, did he say like, that's the one we want to kill? And the dragon's like, I don't think so. She might be useful. Or was the dragon like, I'm gonna eat her, and he was like, no, like she's mine to kill. You know, like, what was the conversation that went down between them? Because I'm sure there was something that was said about her in that moment. So they're like reading all the names of people that died. Dun, dun, dun. And it's something to note is that right now they don't really care about the name readings, because they don't know anybody. So everybody's just kind of like,
a person I never met died.
Yeah, like, okay. Which will be quite different later. And so they have to go to class, and it turns out that someone that is assigned to their squad with Violet and Rhiannon is this guy named Sawyer, and he's a repeat. Yeah. So he made it through his first year and was not chosen by a dragon. So now he has to repeat the first year. Yeah.
Which I was like, that is horrible. Like, I'm like, why do you have to repeat a year? Yeah. It's one of those things of like, who knows what's good and who knows what's bad. Like, remember like us talking about like, okay, it was horrible needing to like apply to medical school like again. Yeah. But at the same time, like, everything lines up how it's supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was actually really, just because of like my own like previous like journey. Yeah. I was like, I'm interested to see how much of a role Sawyer plays in this series.
Yeah. And he, in this moment, like, we learn a little bit about like the journey that they take as first years, because Violet's like, dang, I would hate to have to redo these things about the first year. The first, which is called the Gauntlet, which is basically like this obstacle course that they have to be able to make it through. And they have to be able to make it through that to go to the threshing, which is like the event where the dragons like pick who their rider is, basically. So they're talking about him. Let's see.
Like, basically, this chapter is just them, like, being just us learning about the school.
Learning about the classes.
They have a shared class that's like a battle briefings where they fill them in on everything that's like most relevant, that's just happening right now in the front lines. And everybody goes to this class. The first years, the second years, the third years. So it's like this giant like joint class. Yeah. Which I was like, I don't know if this ever happened to you, but like when you were in high school, that you had like maybe like AP or ACE classes, and then it's like there were kids from different grade levels, and like you're a freshman, and like there's like a senior that like you make besties with because they're like in that class. It kind of gave that vibe, and I'm like, oh, I remember those days.
So like before she goes to battle brief, she's talking with Dane, and Dane confirms that the blue dragon is Xaden's. How do you say the dragon's name?
Where's the dragon?
Right here.
When I tell you that I was like, I cannot read that. I was like, Sagiel?
I honestly have no idea if I'm right. I haven't looked it up. We should probably look it up after this episode because I have a feeling that because it's Xaden's dragon, it'll keep popping up. But I thought it was Gale, that the S was silent.
I hope it is. Because when I looked at it, I was like, not only do I not know, I don't even know how to make the sounds of an S and a G next to each other.
They don't go together.
So it must not be like, you know.
I figured it was Gale, that the S is silent.
Okay.
But
God, I really
that's
hope
what I
so.
would like to run with. And if I'm wrong, all right,
I have a feeling you're right.
I'll eat shit if I'm wrong.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? You know how like certain fantasy, it's like you just can't get away from the fact that it's kind of like medieval European.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is giving like, you know, like European name that like maybe to us just does not like when we see it written, we're like, how do you say that?
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
I'm sure it is probably Gale.
Yeah, and we learned that the dragon is a she, which is also interesting in my mind. And then
I feel like it's balanced.
Yeah,
like male, female. You know, but also, sorry, real quick. When I don't know how to read a word in English, I like switch to Spanish, and I'm like, let me see if I like
if it makes sense that way.
Yeah, and so I was like, Segali. Yeah, I was like Segali. But I'm like, why the L is after the Y? I don't know how to make this sound.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. The best I could come up with was Gale. And I was like, I think that's what I'm going to run with.
Girl, we'll look it up. We'll look it up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then we learned that Dane's dragon's name is Kath. And he's a red swordtail. Who's still like feisty, but even he's like, Kath is like no match for Gale.
Yeah.
So he's like, that dragon is something else. Yeah. And she says it here that he's a squad leader. So he has the 9 of them. That includes Violet and Rhiannon and Sawyer in their group of 9. And we also learned that he has what's called a signet power, which is like because he's bonded with Kath, he has like some sort of now like special ability that's basically like because he's bonded with the dragon.
Yes. So basically, once you become bonded with the dragon, you have access to a well of magic that kind of gets coursed through the dragon into you. Yeah. And it's called a signet. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is real cool. And like, just to kind of like talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
We eventually find out that the reason that like these gifts are all unique to the dragon and the rider, and no one dragon can do one thing. It's a combination of like the rider's essence and the dragon's magic that creates what it is that their signet and their power is.
Which is very cool because it's like you take the same dragon and put a different rider with them.
And it'll be a different power.
It's a different power. Yeah, which is very interesting. I actually appreciate that.
And then we find out that Dane's signet is actually, it's protected. Like, it's confidential.
Yeah.
It's not known to the general public, so you know it's not something basic like fire, water, or
healing.
Yeah. So we find out that it's Dane can actually see the most recent memories of a person.
He's like, I can read their recent memories.
Yeah. So it's kind of like spy, interrogator, mind reader.
Exactly.
And apparently in this world, mind reading is very rare.
Yeah.
But what Dane has is not mind reading.
No, it's
very specific.
It's like he watches a movie of something that previously already happened. He
in
can't
recent memory.
Yes, but he can't read like their current thoughts.
Exactly.
Or something. Yeah.
So it'll be important for like interrogations.
Yeah.
which is why his signet is confidential.
Yeah, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Okay. So she has to get to class and, of course, has this little, like, tense run-in of Xaden being like, oh, I saw you with your boyfriend. And she's like, great. Now he knows that, like, Dane is someone important to me kind of thing. As if he didn't already know that. But it's, like, now more confirmed. So they just have that, like, moment where Dane is like, well, he can't kill me because I'm a squad leader, but he can kill you. So you better run. And she's like, ah. So she runs.
Yeah.
And is, like, headed to class. And now chapter 5 is going to be battle brief. So we start with an excerpt about the Tyrish rebellion. So remember when Violet was like fact spewing going across the parapet? She tells us that there is a province that is the Tyrannodor.
I think it's
Tyrannodor.
Yes.
Tyrannodor province. And that is the province where the rebellion that Xaden's parent or dad was a part of started, was in that province. So this little excerpt is like an official brief for the king by Violet's mom, Lilith Sorrengail, about the rebellion. And I think this excerpt is super important.
Yes, I agree.
So it says, knowing I am in direct disagreement with General Melgren's orders, I am officially objecting to the plan set forth in today's briefing. It is not this general's opinion that the children of the rebellion's leaders should be forced to witness their parents' executions. No child should watch their parent put to death. And I have a feeling this is going to be important later.
Oh, yeah.
That somehow, like, the beef between Xaden and Violet is going to be centered around this. Whether there's, like, a miscommunication about, like, Xaden thought that the general, like, was the one who was, like, they need to... Like, it was her idea that the kids need to be conscripted and that the parents need to be put to death and, like, this and that. Like, whether, like, however it's gonna come out, I have a feeling that it's like, well, no, actually she was against the plan of the kids watching their parents put to death.
Interesting.
You know?
So for me, when I read this, like, I was like, this is super important. Not me thinking, like, in the future how it can be a plot point, but more so me thinking of, like, this is how we form a relationship with Violet's mother without her actually being on screen in the book. In the sense of...
fair enough.
So we know Violet's mom. So first of all, we know Violet's mom loved her dad just because of the first chapter.
Yeah.
We know that she loves her kids because of the fact that she, like, went out and, like, hunted down her son's killer.
Yeah.
We know that she loves Violet, and that part of the reason that she forces her to be a writer is because she believes that she can do it.
And she's like, you've been holed up in this castle, like, your whole life in the library. Like, basically, like, this is how you live life.
Yeah. So whether it's misguided or not, like, she truly believes that her daughter can make it and do it. So it's not even coming from a place of, like, you can say maybe it's coming from a place of ego, but then why let her train so many years to be a scribe? And I think that her husband's death solidified in her that, like, she can't shelter Violet. Violet needs to, like, make her own way in the world.
Yeah.
And maybe this is, like, her misguided way of, like, putting forth that. But it also, like, this one excerpt tells us, like, Violet's mother is not, like, she is not at her core, like, this evil general, right?
Yeah.
There's, like, levels to things.
Yeah.
She is not okay. Like, yes, these people are traitors, but she is not okay with the trauma of putting somebody through watching your parent be executed right in front of you.
Yes.
And she has enough of a backbone to directly call out another general and put in writing what her beliefs are.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the... Putting your beliefs in writing is, like, you're cementing that into history. This is an excerpt from an official brief. This is in the history books.
Yes. And I think that kind of goes back to, like, my dad always said, like, you never put something in writing that you're not ready to, like, defend in court, basically, because it can and will be used against you at some point. So she did put a very strong opinion, but I have a feeling this is going to come back.
Yeah.
The fact that she explicitly was like, they should not watch this.
Yeah.
I have my spidey senses.
Are tingling.
Yeah. Okay, so battle brief is very interesting because it's like basically any information that is not classified about current ongoings in the war, they talk about every day in battle brief.
Yep.
All of them, whether they're first years or third years, like they're all there. And I like this. It's kind of the same thing that we do in like rounds where we start with the med student.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a third or fourth year med student, like the attendings usually will be like, well, do you know the answer for this? And if they don't, then it moves up like the ranks to the upperclassmen.
Yeah.
And they kind of do that in the battle brief where they're talking about this village in the mountains that was ambushed because now we know like they have wards that protect their border that are like magical wards. Somehow they're faltering, and we learned that people from the Paromial Kingdom like somehow were privy
able to invade and to take advantage of that.
Yeah,
with they don't ride dragons, they
Gryphons.
Okay, I had no idea how to say that. I don't even know what that looks like. I know it says it's like a cat with winged body, like with wings on its body. Right?
No,
like cat body. Wings.
No, it's like a griffin.
Oh, okay, so like a lion
with a eagle,
mixed with an eagle.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like a griffin basically. Okay. I was like, oh, okay, so you're saying griffin without saying griffin. It's.
Oh wait, what do they call it here?
They call it a gryphon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel a little bit validated. If I had seen Griffin on there, I would have been like, oh, okay, a Griffin. Yeah. I think it's so funny how, like, authors will, like, oh, well, who knows? Maybe this is, like, just another way of spelling it, or, like, maybe in another country, like, they write it like this.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so funny how no one ever changes dragon to something else.
Yeah.
But every other mythical creature, it's like, oh, it can't be, like, just the thing that we know it as.
Yeah, I know. And so Violet's basically listening to this brief about the other kingdom. They're like Gryphon riders, and they somehow are like privy to the information that the wards were going to fail in this village, and they attack the village, and then within an hour, a squad of dragon riders was able to get there and like stop it from getting any worse. And then the professor is basically like, okay, like first years, like, it's your time you start and ask questions that you think are going to be important. This is Professor Navarre, that is their like battle brief professor. And so of course Violet's like, I don't want to ask anything. She's like, I don't want to ask anything.
Because the whole point is Dane was like, you know,
keep your head down.
Keep your head down. Don't make waves. Yeah. Don't stand out. Yeah. Right. So anything that she does is going to stand out because
because of who she is. She's going to draw attention to herself if she asks a question or like anything. So people,
which at that point, I'm like, if it were me, I'd be like, if I'm going to draw attention and people are going to hate me regardless, I might as well have fun.
Yeah.
I might as well have fun with it. I mean, I feel like you know this.
Yeah.
Same thing of like, if I know that I'm going to be like put in a situation where I'm going to be annoyed at everybody and like everybody's like acting up and acting a fool, I was like, you know what? Then I'm going to have fun and I'm going to be a little bit antagonistic and just, you know, like enjoy myself messing with people.
Of course.
So I feel like if I was Violet, I would be like, well, there's no point in keeping my head down.
Yeah. And I think she kind of eventually realizes that, but at least at this stage, she's not there yet. So people are like asking questions, and she's kind of like, all right, these questions aren't really helpful. But what she knows, because Violet is like super smart and was studying to be a scribe, she knows a lot about the Gryphons and was like, they don't function well at high altitudes. And this village was high up in the mountains. And so she tells Rhiannon to ask, like, she's like, ask them what altitude the village was at. And so Rhiannon asks it, and quickly, to her credit, when the professor counters back, like, why would you want to know that? She's like, oh, well, because the Gryphons don't function well at that altitude. So at least she, like, could roll with the punches.
Yeah, Rhiannon is not, like,
she's not dumb.
She's not dumb.
But she's not, like, as smart as Violet, for sure. Yeah. In the history and like book stuff.
Exactly. And at this very beginning stage, but also like we learn a little bit more about Rhiannon, and we learn that she comes from a village where like, what was it, like history was not something that they didn't
were
really
were
really big on. So it's kind of like, I think it's interesting how yes, this is a fantasy book, but we are still seeing a little bit of like the social class and how that affects you in school.
Yeah.
Because Violet was able to be a scribe, or she was able to study under a scribe master.
Yeah.
And she has all this wealth of information that she knows. Meanwhile, Rhiannon did have like some math and science, but not so great at history and physical combat.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting as to like what was poured into them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was like where she came from, they valued more like
learn strength.
Yeah. And being able to protect yourself physically. So that comes like a little later too, that they realize like, I can help you, you can help me. But in this moment, the professor was like, why don't you tell us why that's bothersome, Violet, that they were okay with going in at this high altitude, and maybe you can ask your own questions from now on. And Violet's like, oh, she's like, I got caught. And she's basically explaining to like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's an illogical place for them to attack, knowing that their Gryphons are going to be weakened unless they knew that the ward was going to fail. And of course, or other students are starting to be like, that's stupid, blah. And the professor's like, they did know the wards were going to fail. And everyone's like, oh, gasp. And so she like keeps like pulling the Violet. String. Yeah, she's like, come on, like, tell me more. And Violet is basically like, wait, you said that there was a squad that got there within an hour?
And getting there takes an hour.
Yeah. So that means they had to have already been on the move. Like, they had to have woken up because it was in the middle of the night. Yeah. They had to have woken up, gotten packed, gotten on their dragons, and been on the way when the attack started for them to be there in an hour when it takes an hour to travel there.
Yeah.
You know, like, there was no time for prep. Because also they use, like, beacons.
They were cutting it close, yeah.
Yeah, because I pictured almost like, you know, in Mulan,
yes,
when they were like
lighting the torches.
It is Mulan, right? Yeah, where they light the torches. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So you would have to account for more time for the signal to get to them to get ready, and then to fly. So Violet's like, oh my God, we had to have also already known that the attack was coming. And then the professor is like, yeah, like, we actually had someone
one of the
dragons sensed it in that squad and was like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
So Violet basically shows that she's like very smart, not only book smart, but she can apply that book smart knowledge and analyze a situation and make things make sense.
Yeah.
Which was very cool that we got to see her like show off there. Yeah. And so then that's like the extent of what the professor is going to push a first year to say, and probably even what she would have expected maybe from like a second or third year to get to. So then she's like, okay, well, Xaden is a third year. So he asks, what was the condition of the village? And that was a question that the professor actually really liked. Like, was it, you say that the damage could have been worse if the squad hadn't like anticipated and been able to get there as quickly as they did. But what was the like condition it was in? Was it burned? Like what? And the professor's basically like, oh, well, part of it was burned. The buildings they already sacked and looted were burned, and they were in the process of like going through other buildings. So they didn't make it all the way through this camp or this village. And Xaden was like, oh, that's actually really important because that tells me they're looking for something, that they didn't just burn the village.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that is also going to come back, that now we know like, okay, wards are failing. Why are they failing? And how does the enemy know that they're failing? And is there a specific, maybe something like to the area where they're failing? Because they tell us, this is not the first time the wards have failed, but they said it's classified for how often and when did it start. Like, all that stuff is classified.
Yeah.
But we do know this is not the first occurrence of them failing. And then what are they looking for? You know? So, like, this battle brief was super important, I feel like.
It was. I think it gave us a lot, too, of just, like, laying foundation for world building.
Yes. Yeah.
And how bad this war has gotten.
Yeah. And the fact that like they have dragons on their side that don't have known limits, where it's like the Gryphons don't fight as well and don't channel their magic as well at high altitude.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a mountain range that is the border between the Paromio Kingdom and Navarre.
Yeah.
So that's like an interesting tidbit that it's like, okay, well, that makes sense why they have not successfully invaded, because they are at a disadvantage trying to go over this mountain range.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all that was part of Battle Brief. And this is when Rhiannon was like, girl, you smart. And she was like, but you're also weak. And so Rhiannon was like, if you'll tutor me, I'll train you. Yeah, which is not a bad gig, you know? Like, that's actually a pretty good deal for them to, like, trade that. And now we get their first time on the mats.
Yeah.
Which is, like, their little, like, fighting moment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody gets paired up with someone. Rhiannon goes first in this. And she basically, like, kicks butt.
Yeah.
Which you're like, okay, so now we clearly see Rhiannon in her element, and she's good. You know, like, she knows what she's doing. She can hold her own in a fight.
Very good, yeah.
In hand-to-hand combat, yeah. And we, in the middle of this, we see Violet look over to where that guy, Jack, who had the one that was chasing her across the parapet and now, like, has beef with her. We see him snap somebody's neck.
Yeah.
In the training ring.
So now he's already killed 2 people.
Yeah.
And it's like,
he's just killing people.
So neat. Like, especially since they said that day was only to see what they can do.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like you take someone down and then give them the opportunity to yield, basically. Yeah. And if they don't yield, but it's starting to get dangerous, the professor can step in and be like, no, they yield.
Yeah.
And he did it so fast, though, snapped the guy's neck, that the professor couldn't even jump in and be like, he yields. Like, and it's like it's so silly that Jack is like, basically like, oh, it's for glory. And we learn, like, you're not more likely to bond a dragon just because you kill everybody, you know?
And you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to kick you out for doing it, but it's also not, like, what majority of people are doing.
Most people are so concerned about their own life and, like,
they're not trying to go out there and get everybody.
No. I mean, at most, they might look at someone and be like, you are a weak link, like, figure it out, or we will have to, like, figure it out for you. Yeah, exactly. But at least as of right now, like, nobody else is really like, I'm gonna kill everybody for glory and power and blah blah blah. And you're like, okay, this guy clearly has, like, a complex of some kind. But anyway, Rhiannon wins her little fight, and it becomes Violet's turn, and she gets paired with this girl Imogen, who is another one of the rebellion children. They're all marked with tattoos.
Yeah.
So it's like she sees the tattoo and she's like
silver tattoos, right? That, like, goes all over. It's like,
it's
called a relic.
Yeah, a relic. Yeah. Which is, it's basically, like, really obvious to identify that their parent was in the rebellion.
Yeah.
Which, of course, Violet's like, lovely. I get paired up with someone who definitely wants to kill me. Which makes me think the fact that these rebellion kids all have it out for Violet, I wonder if somehow we're going to learn that the history got twisted, that General Sorrengail, Violet's mom, was one of the ones that signed the order for them to watch their parents executed.
It would be interesting for sure.
Like, I think there's a component there that somehow it got twisted.
Mm-hmm. Well, but it's one of those things of, like, if Violet's mom was the one to take down Xaden's dad, taking down the leader of the rebellion means everybody else falls.
Fair.
So regardless, like, she didn't have to do anything to them specifically. It's like,
she ended the rebellion.
It's when people they
scapegoat
the leader and not everybody else. Because I'm sure that they say that a lot of writers are legacy.
Yeah.
So that means that there are plenty of people at this school whose parents are writers somewhere down the line or another down the line.
Yeah.
And therefore, like, why don't they get targeted? It's because they're scapegoating the leader.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even think that it's necessarily has to be something that the history got twisted. I think it's even, like, them not caring to know that, like, Violet's mom said, like, no child should be put through this.
Yeah.
You know?
And did we ever learn like when the rebellion occurred? That it's like, did it occur after Mira was there, or did Mira also deal with people being like, your mom is the one that killed the rebellion, you know, like, because we never learned if Mira dealt with that.
We know that Brennan dies. When did he die?
It was at least after Mira started Rider School.
Yeah. I think Mira had already graduated when Brennan died.
Yeah, okay. So they're like a couple years apart.
Yeah,
okay.
Which means that she didn't have to go through what Violet is going through.
Okay.
Mira's 26 and Violet is 20.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Which, you know, good jump between there.
It's so funny. I feel like this thing about like these heroines in these fantasy books being either like teenagers or like early 20s. So far, she's not giving uncooked frontal lobe.
Yeah, she's
too
not.
bad.
She's not. Yeah, that's why she's likable.
Yeah.
Because she's not like right now. She's not doing anything stupid.
Yeah.
So
yeah. At least she makes her little like funny comments to Dane,
but those are funny.
Yeah, they're funny. She's not giving. Yeah, she's not giving.
She's not giving
raw
immature.
Frontal lobe.
Yeah.
But so she gets paired up with Imogen, and Imogen was like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, your mom killed my family. I'm coming after you.
Yeah, takes her down, and Violet, being stupid, was like, "No, I don't yield." And so then Imogen like snaps her arm and breaks her arm.
It sounds like she dislocated her shoulder from the socket
and broke her arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And then Dane was like, "You're not supposed to use your magic in here," but I don't understand where Imogen used her magic.
Yeah.
You can't use your powers.
Her movements are a blur. I think it's that she has speed.
I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, because it's like she because Imogen's kind of looking at her like, "Ooh, like what is this armor that you have?" And she's like, "It's mine." And then she like moves too fast for Violet to be able to dodge her. And the professor was like, "You can't use your powers." And Dane also is like freaking out about it. So I think it's that she can move fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, yeah.
She gets her arm almost like ripped off, essentially.
Dislocated and broken. Yeah. And you're like, oof. And that's the end of chapter 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. So we got proof.
Action-packed.
Yeah.
And look at how much we've read already.
Yeah. Yeah, we're already on page like 65.
Yeah.
Little over 65 because my pages are stuck together. Yeah. So at this point in chapter 5, I was like, okay, Violet's weak and I need her to start like buffing up. You know, I need her to start getting some things that now like play to her advantage. Yeah. You know, I was starting to be like, she's not going to survive long if like this girl literally just like
breaks a bone every time something happens. So, okay, here I started to have theories about what's going to happen.
Okay.
So, just like little things. For one, I actually really love that Violet has this like health issue as like a reader.
Yeah.
Watching it. I know that some people might be like, this is so unrealistic and wouldn't blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, I'm reading a book that has dragons. Do I care about realism? No. Okay? Number 1. Let's put that down already. But also,
sanity at the door.
No, not even, okay? I did not have to check my sanity at the door with this one so far.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So I appreciate that. But we're reading a book about dragons and a mythical war. Like, it's okay if the character that has health problems somehow is making it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I actually really like that she has like this, her biggest strength is her mind.
Yeah.
I like that she's not like beefy in that way. Now, at this point, I'm like, the only way I could see her actually like making it through is if she gets bonded to a dragon and she's a mender, that she can mend herself constantly.
Oh, interesting.
That's how I thought that this was gonna go. Like in the sense of like, I was like, it would be very cool if she could heal herself, or if something happened with her dragon that kind of healed whatever illness she has, so that she can go into battle.
And it would be cool. Honestly, it would be really cool if you're like somehow like her bonding with a dragon heals whatever happened to her when she had like that fever. And then you're like, so this is like the person you would have been all along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like who you were meant to be, and somehow like fate just kind of intervened, and you're like, her mom had the fever when she was pregnant with her, right? Yeah. So it's like somehow like this random thing changed your fate a little bit, but that's not to be said. Yeah, exactly. That's not to say that it can't be changed back.
Yeah. So initially I was like, I thought that, okay, I was like, it'd be interesting if she was a mender, especially with the upcoming excerpt that we have by, was it?
Major Frederick.
Major Frederick's Modern Guide for Healers, where Major Frederick says, "It is my opinion that of all the signet powers writers provide, mending is the most precious. But we cannot allow ourselves to become complacent when in the company of such a signet, for menders are rare and the wounded are not."
Yeah.
So the fact that mending is rare, the fact that her body could use mending, I think it would be really a very useful signet for her to be a mender.
Oh, I had a very different thought about why this excerpt was put here.
Ooh, tell me.
So in this chapter, like, Dane takes her immediately to the healing quadrant, as he should, because her arm is broken and dislocated. And she's like blacking out from the pain. And she has this moment, like, she knows the mender. Yeah. Because in her 6 months of getting prepared for Conscription Day, she had to visit the mender quite frequently because she is so fragile. And through this interaction, she has this thought of like, I can't keep relying on him to mend me. Mm-hmm. And this quote is saying like, menders are rare and the wounded are not. And I feel like that was put there as a prologue to her realizing like, I gotta figure this out for myself because I can't rely on having this mender here for me all the time. Yeah. That was kind of like my thought of like the placement of that quote. Yeah. Which she's right. Like, she can't be used to always running down to the healer's quadrant because, first of all, the other riders are going to be like, okay, why are we keeping this girl around if she constantly has to go and get mended? Yeah. Like, it makes no sense. And then also, like, imagine how much that would mess with her if, like, she does go to battle and now she's, like, freaking out that she's like, if something happens to me, I'm not with the mender to heal me. Yeah. And then the mending also is not, like, instantaneous like it is in other series that we've read where they have, like, magical healers. Like, she still is gonna feel pain and soreness and stuff. Like,
it's more like they... And what I love about it is that it's not just healing. It's putting things back in their place that have been destroyed. Yeah. So it's like reconnecting her bones, reconnecting the ligament, reconnecting the whatever muscle got shredded, like stuff like that. But it doesn't take away like the pain and the physical therapy you're going to have to do. Yeah.
It's not like immediately like it's back to what it was. Yeah. Like, no, I mean, it's definitely like speeds the healing process, but he's like, yeah, you're going to feel like shit for a week after this kind of thing.
And I like that they can use it on other stuff like buildings and other things.
Yes. It's not just for like physical healing. It is like of all, it's like a reversal of entropy kind of thing. Yeah. You know, like it's kind of the vibe that it gives. And it just so happens to be able to be applied to the human body. Yeah. But I love this chapter because there's this girl, Winifred, who is the wife of the mender, who I'm forgetting his name right now.
Nolan, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Nolan. So they're husband and wife, which is amazing that she was a healer by trade, like going to the healer quadrant. He's a rider, but he's a mender by signet, which I was like, oh, that's cute.
It's cute, yeah.
So anyway, Winifred gives Violet, like, their version of morphine, and she's all, like, blah, like, loopy, and she's, like, drunk talking to Dane, like, I'm not going to the scribe quadrant. I belong here, and I'm going to be a rider, and, like...
Because at this point, she's survived nights there already. She's, like, been in the classes, and... She's like, I'm here and I'm not going down. It's like she didn't want to be here originally, but now ever since she made it past the parapet, she's like, well, I'm here. Yeah. And I'm not moving.
Okay. And now here's where like some of my opinions about Dane are solidified. Because in this moment, Dane is begging them not to mend her. He's like, yes, give her the drugs to take away the pain. If you need to do surgery, but don't speed her healing process because it like benefits our case to get her into the scribe quadrant, basically. And I didn't like that. And I already had kind of like iffy feelings about Dane in the beginning, and this is the moment where I was like, no, I don't like that one bit. Should I like dive more into that thought or leave it there for now?
I think leave it there for now, because how I want to talk about it, I need a little bit more avenues.
Okay, so at least for as of right now, I'm like, I'm not loving Dane.
Yeah, I can see why he's doing the things that he's doing.
Yes.
Would I say to somebody, don't mend so-and-so because we're going to try to get them out, without like knowing well enough that I already had this conversation with them and they don't want to do it and aren't going to do it?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
But would I, like, if it was a friend, would I tell my friend, like, you know, if they didn't heal you, we could use this to get you out? And then wait to see what they would say? Yeah.
Fair enough.
I just wouldn't be I feel like he was a man about it, and I'm more of a woman about it, where I'm like, it's your choice, but like, I'm going to be honest with you, we could do this. Yeah. And he was like, do it. Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, Violet makes it out of the ward and is like in a lot of pain, but at least assembled back together. Yeah, and all bones are where they're supposed to be, and
she can wiggle fingers.
Yeah, they're where they're supposed to be now.
She has sensation in her fingers.
And
full neural exam.
Yes, yes. And she's like getting ready to go to bed and kind of like slides her hand like under her pillow and feels something under her pillow. And she's like, what is this? And the note that is in the beginning of this book that she pulls out from under her bed, it says, Violet, I stayed long enough to read the rolls this morning and you aren't on them, thank gods. I can't stay. I'm needed back with my wing, and even if I could stay, they wouldn't let me see you anyway. I bribed a scribe to sneak this into your bunk. I hope you know how proud I am to be your sister. Brennan wrote this for me the summer before I entered the quadrant. It saved me, and it can save you too. I added my own bits of hard-earned wisdom here and there, but mostly it's his, and I know he'd want you to have it. He'd want you to live. Love, Mira.
I cried that part.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like siblings looking out for siblings like as much as they can, and I'm like, finally.
Which is so refreshing.
Yes, exactly. And so they're not supposed to keep personal effects of someone who's died. So when Brennan died, everything that was his was supposed to have been burned. Yeah. That's just like their culture.
Yeah.
So Rhiannon is kind of like, oh, like what is that? And
Violet's like, it's my brother's.
It's my brother's, and Rhiannon is like, I get it. It's nice to have something from the person who's passed, you know?
Yeah, and then she tells her, like, sometimes we keep something.
Yeah.
In her village.
Yeah, it's like I don't know really, like, why they have that culture, but that's just what they do. And so now we're reading, like, what Brennan wrote in the beginning for Mira, where he says, Mira, you're a Sorrengail, so you will survive. Perhaps not as spectacularly as I have, but we all can't live up to my standards, can we? All kidding aside, this is everything I've learned. Keep it safe, keep it hidden. You have to live because Violet is watching. You can't let her see you fall, Brennan.
I cried in that part too.
I did, yeah. And so Brennan has basically wrote the Book of Brennan, which is like his like survival guide
to the Rider's Quadrant.
To the Rider's Quadrant, yeah. And you're like, finally, like something is going Violet's way, and maybe she can like actually survive this well instead of just like barely making it through things. Yeah. You know?
Which is why I also say like she has the benefit of resources.
Yeah.
This is a resource.
Yeah, it is absolutely a resource. So yeah, then we get another little excerpt from Brennan, and he's like, I have to read his and remember he's talking to Mira, but it's also like now he's talking to Violet.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because he passed away 5 years ago, and like now it's like Violet has something like bringing him back to life.
Yeah.
And even though he originally wrote it for Mira, it's like now he gets to give her words of wisdom too.
Yeah.
So anyway, he tells her, you survived the parapet. Good. Be observant the next few days and don't do anything to draw attention to yourself. So even Brennan was like don't draw attention to yourself. Lay low. He said, I've sketched a map that shows you not only where the classrooms are, but where the instructors meet too. I know you're nervous about challenges, which is like when they go head to head with someone else in the mat. He's like, but you shouldn't be, not with that right hook of yours. The matches might seem random, but they're not. What the instructors don't tell you is that they decide the challenges weeks before. Mira, any cadet can request a challenge, yes, but instructors will assign your matches based on weeding out the weakest. That means once the real hand-to-hand starts, the instructors already know who you'll be up against that day. Here's the secret. If you know where to look and can get out without being seen, you'll know who you're fighting so you can prepare. Which is great, rather than like getting there and them calling like, oh, you're fighting this person.
And you have no idea.
Exactly.
Because in Mira's case, she would be able to see who she's fighting, pay attention to them when they're fighting on the mat, and develop a strategy to counter them in that moment, when it's her time to fight. Like, so if the person has an issue where they don't defend their left side, she can aim for their left side, right? Violet's case might be a little bit different, which we dive into.
Yeah, but she can at least still use it to her advantage. And Violet is like, oh, and no one knows Basgiath, which is like their college ground. She's like, no one knows this place like me, so I will definitely be able to use this. And that's the end of chapter 6. Which I was like, yes, we're getting like momentum in Violet's favor. Yeah. You know? Okay, so chapter 7 starts with addendums to the Basgiath War College Code of Conduct. So amendum.
Yes.
Addendum.
Yeah.
Amendum. I was trying to say amendment and addendum, and it became amendum.
Yeah.
Anyways, addendum 5.2 says, in the best interest of preserving peace within Navarre, no more than 3 cadets carrying rebellion relics may be assigned to any squad of any quadrant. Which means if there's 9 in a squad, they are the minority.
At least 3, like only 3 can be.
Of those 9, yes. So they are the minority in a squad, which means a squad would never be predominantly rebellion children. And then addendum 5.3 says, in addition to that change,
last year's change,
marked ones assembling in groups of 3 or more will now be considered an act of seditious conspiracy and is hereby a capital offense. Which I want to know what the hell was going on that they made that rule.
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, like I don't know if we'll ever find that out.
You know what I think it is? I think we can say the following. I think it's when they said children of these rebellion leaders are going to be placed to be in the war college as riders, and they thought that many of them wouldn't survive, and then enough of them survived that they were like, this might be an issue.
We need them not to band together take over.
Yes, we need to further cut them at the knees, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so chapter 7 starts with Violet kind of like...
Chapter 7 is a good one.
I loved this chapter. Okay, I picked up chapter 7 at like midnight one night after we came back from like hanging out, and I was like, you know what, let me read one chapter. And I read chapter 7, and then I was like, I think I need to finish all 10 chapters right now. And I stayed up until like 3 a.m. reading. The reading...
And it was worth it, wasn't it?
The reading bug definitely hit me hard with this chapter. Because I feel like all the chapters 1 through 6 were definitely interesting, but I was like, okay, like I can read a chapter before bed and put it down and like go to bed.
Yeah.
But this one, I was like, like what?
I gotta know what happens next. Essentially, just to describe what's going on. So Violet devises a plan of how she's gonna get through these challenges.
Yeah, but we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. But as we're going through, so she's like out and about where she's not supposed to be after curfew in the middle of the night. She's by some river. She's collecting some stuff, and then she hears like kind of like commotion, or like she sees people in cloaks coming her way. So she's like scaling this tree and is hiding up in the tree like, oh crap, I really can't get caught right now. If I get caught, this is going to be horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, the people assembling are the children of the rebellion leaders.
Like all of them.
Yes, all of them. The third years, the second years, and the first years.
Yep.
And essentially, Xaden is there, and so is Imogen, and so are the first years in her class that are like that have the relic markings.
Imogen's the second year.
Yes. Did I say? Yeah, she's the second year.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then you're like in the first years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I made it like together.
Oh, in Violet's class. Yeah. But
So,
yeah.
Essentially, Violet is like, oh man, what's gonna happen? She like decides to go a little lower on the tree so she can hear what they're saying, and she soon realizes that it's kind of like a group study where
it's like a mentor program.
It's a mentor program where the older kids are basically asking like, what is it that you guys need? What like are you struggling with? We can tutor you.
Yeah.
Don't go in more than in groups of 3, but we can like work something out with our schedules to make sure that we can get you what you need to do in order to survive this.
Yeah.
Because unlike everyone else and Violet, these kids are here by force.
Yeah.
So Violet actually has that in common with them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She didn't want to be there, and they also don't, or maybe had other plans or other things they would have liked to have been a part of.
Yeah.
And this whole like encounter is really interesting because they kind of make it seem like because they're rebellion students, it's like the professors don't go out of their way to help them. You know, so they're like, we either help each other or we suffer.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, which also made me like feel for them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, well, that's not fair. Like, they're already there against their will. Why should they also like have to suffer now? Like the professor's treating them differently, kind of thing.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So like they're all talking about like things that they were struggling with, and like so it was really interesting that someone was like, oh, like I'm struggling with like battle brief, like knowing what to ask in battle brief, and Imogen, who was this big tough girl that treated Violet like shit on the mat, was like, yeah, that's a hard one. And you're like, interesting. So like part of her personality is a front a little, like was kind of like the vibe I started to get from Imogen like in this scene. Yep. And it kind of made me view all of them as like softies, including Xaden.
Yeah.
He's like the leader of this little mentorship program and like knows fully well that what he's doing could get them all killed. It's a capital offense.
And knows fully well that some of these kids are not going to make it.
Yeah.
Like some of these first years are simply not going to make it.
Yeah.
And the fact that he doesn't sugarcoat it is not, I wouldn't say it's like him being like tough. I would say it's in part like reality, in part trauma. Like what's the point of sugarcoating something when he's seen people in his year die, people in the year below him die, people in this year die. Like it's just dying. And it gets to a point where you're like, well,
yeah,
it is what it is, because one of the kids is like, get us out of here. And they're like,
sorry, Chief.
You either make it through or you don't make it at all.
Yeah.
And like it is a little bit of a softie because he doesn't have to do this.
No.
He survived. He's strong enough to make it without any like, help. Or maybe he did maybe the students of the kids of the parents from the rebellion, maybe some of them were a little bit older and like an older kid like helped Xaden out and he's just continuing it on.
Yeah.
But I thought that it was very interesting, and I thought that it gave really great depth to him as a character.
Yeah.
And to like kind of the
he's
politics
morally
of everything.
gray. He's not morally black.
I wouldn't even say that he's morally gray.
I know. He's just dark and twisty on the outside, but soft on the inside.
Aww.
That's how I like him.
Oh my gosh. But I think it's very interesting. Like when I was reading this chapter, well, throughout reading the first couple chapters of this book, I was like, this war has been going on for 400 years.
Yeah.
The reason for it is being hidden.
Yes.
I was like, there is something, I would bet, and it's really early and I could be wrong, but whatever. I would bet that within this series, we're going to see that there's part of Violet's going to find herself on the other side of the war.
Yeah.
She's going to find herself understanding why the rebellion happened.
Yeah.
probably even like agreeing with the identifying with why the rebellion happened.
Yes.
And I think that like her generation is going to be the generation to kind of flip it on its head and possibly like peace to come from it.
Yeah. And I wonder how much of it has to do with like the dragons that like, okay, so if you're not bonded to a dragon, you get no insight into a dragon's thoughts, right? They don't speak English.
No.
But they speak telepath.
Through the bond,
Okay. So I'm wondering if like something has been misconstrued and like, yes, the dragons want to protect their like nesting grounds, but I wonder if something will also come of it where the dragons realize that they are like somehow in the wrong in this too, you know, and it'll be like the combination of whatever dragon she bonds with. Yeah. Because, okay, she's our main protagonist. Like, I find it hard to believe that she's going to die and not, like, bond a dragon. You know, like, okay, yes, I'm, like, on the edge of my seat of, like, what is going to happen, but I realistically don't think she's going to die before she gets bonded. Yeah. So I think that something about, like, the way the blue dragon kind of was like, huh. And when it saw her, and then, like, also whatever dragon, like, chooses to bond with her, I wonder if they're going to be like, this is the one. This is the one that fixes everything, you know? But anyway, so the other tidbit that we learn about Xaden is there's a moment where there is a girl who's like, what do we do with, like, the Sorrengail girl? Like, do we kill her or what? And Xaden is like, first of all, she's mine to handle. Mm-hmm. Like, if anyone's going to kill her, it's going to be me. But he doesn't say kill. He says she's mine to handle. Yeah. And then he is like, don't forget that her brother is Brennan, and she has just as much of a reason to hate us as we do her. Yeah. Which is basically like, we killed her, our rebellion killed her brother. And yes, like, they killed our parents. So, like, we both got beef.
Yeah, it's a blood war.
Yeah.
It's a blood feud. Yeah.
So I actually, like, in that moment, first of all, I was like, it's nice to hear a man has insight into, like, other people's perspectives of, like, yeah, she has just as much reason to hate us as we do her. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, he didn't say kill, he said handle.
I know.
And I was like, interesting.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I wonder, like...
And here it begins.
Like, what did he what does he already have in store for her that he's, like, already thought of, you know? Yeah. Okay, so anyway, they, like, all disband and, like, go back to bed because they're all, like, out after curfew. And Xaden was, like, basically, she's, like... So Violet's, like, climbing down the tree, and she's like, I have to get back inside, or like, I could easily like die in this situation if I'm caught. And he, of course, ends up catching her, and she's like, oh, like, are you gonna handle me? And he's like, oh, you were eavesdropping, basically. And he's like, now I might actually have to kill you. Which kind of, that little, like, transition in language is like, yeah, he wasn't planning on killing her. Yeah. You know? But she's like, this is ridiculous because he's, like, talking to her, like, he's like, oh, like, eavesdropping were we? Now I might actually have to kill you. And she's like, this is bullshit. Like, he's mocking me, and I want to, like, smack him for it. Yeah. But they have this little conversation. Oh, yeah, she's like, oh, I'm quaking in my boots. And he, like, laughs at her. And I was like, we're getting such good banter with them. And I love it. I'm obsessed. But she's, like, she throws her blades at him. And, like, basically, she's like, oh, he's like, oh, you missed. And she's like, did I? Back up. And when he, like, backs up against the tree, both of the blades are, like, right at his ears. And he's like, you could actually, like, you should be using this skill.
He's like, why don't you do that to Jack Barlow?
Yeah, exactly. The guy that's, like, harassing her. And she was like, huh. Like, in her head, she's like, well, because I was fucking told to lay low. Yeah. And he's the first person who's been like, maybe you shouldn't lay low. Yeah. Maybe you should tell this man that, like, he's gonna get what's coming to him if he keeps messing with you, kind of thing. So they have this, like, really honest conversation where he's like, are you going to rat us out? Because you know it's a criminal offense, what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And she was like, no. And he was like, why do I believe you? And she was like, well, because I'm not. Like, from what I saw, you were literally just, like, helping each other. Like, you weren't conspiring to overthrow anyone. You were just trying to help each other survive.
Yeah, and that's what everybody's trying to do. Uh-huh. And none of them wanted to be here the same way she didn't want to be here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's like she very clearly is like, no, like, I'm not gonna, like, turn you guys in. And he's like, well, interesting. We'll see if you keep your word because now I owe you a favor. And you're like, oh!
The spicy.
Oh! Like, how is this gonna come back?
I think it's,
And she's like, wait, what? She's like, so you're not gonna handle me? And he's, like, walking away and he's like, not tonight! And she was like, oh. And so she's like, well, what they don't know is, like, I'm walking back in and she's like, a fool with Fonnelly berries. And I'm like, ooh, what is she gonna do with these berries?
Yep. So there was a part where he like, Xaden says to her, like, when he realizes that she actually has really good aim and could have gotten him if she really wanted to, he's like, fascinating. You look all frail and breakable, but you're really a violent little thing, aren't you? I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
he looked at her, you know, that man got a little hard and was like,
Aaron.
He was like, oh, she's spicy. Well, like, you know that happened.
Well, you know what I found really interesting too? I was like, I love reading, like, character body language too.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to me when he like nudges her cloak out the way. It's like he's surprised, but also, like, intrigued by the fact that, like, her braid is so long.
Yeah.
And, like, I wonder if in the night he can see it. Because in this chapter, we actually learn what his signet is. His signet is shadow.
Yeah.
Like, he can control shadows to the point that he knew Violet was in the tree the whole time.
Did we actually learn that in this chapter?
Because he pulls the daggers out of the
tree
trunk.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
So he knew Violet was in there the entire time.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, his shadows are strong enough to be able to physically
maneuver things.
Yeah,
yes.
Physically remove daggers from a tree trunk.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a multiple limbs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And the other thing that, like, repeatedly will be coming up is this moment where, so I don't think he actually knew that it was her in the tree beforehand. He knew it was someone, but then she has the first time that he's really, like, looking at her with the shadows. She's like, she says, he looks at me like he's trying to see through me and ice prickles my scalp. Mm-hmm. And that description is important because that sensation comes up anytime now when he's, like, using his shadows to, like, either, like, find her or whatever, is that she can, like, feel it. So I don't know if everyone can feel it or if it's just her, but, like, that's the first time that she describes it and it comes up again.
Like she's being watched, yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like she can, like, there's some sort of tangible element to, like,
that maybe she's more sensitive to.
Yeah, so she gets this, like, almost like that feeling when, like,
the back of your neck when someone's staring at you.
When you get, like, the hair rises and you're like, what the heck is about to happen? It's like she gets something kind of like that. Yeah. Okay, and that was chapter 7. So chapter 8, we get Effective Uses of Wild and Cultivated Herbs by Captain Lawrence Medina. And as soon as we read this, I was like, oh, I know where this is going. As if we didn't already from, like, I don't know. Whenever someone is smart, maybe this is me being biased, but...
Oh, I'm ready.
Women used to not be allowed to get divorced. And the way that they handled that situation was poisoning their husbands. You know?
That is true.
So I'm like, when smart women feel powerless, they resort to poison. So as soon as she, like, says that she, like, found these berries and they were, like, the perfect color and she's stuffing them in a vial.
The minute that she found the berries, put them in a vial, I was like, okay, so she's poisoning something.
She's gonna...
Because she's not baking a cake.
Exactly.
I can tell you that right now. She's not here to make a pie.
Yes. So, and then we get this excerpt that says, there is an art to poison not often discussed, and that is timing. Only a master can properly dose and administer for effective onset. One must take into account the mass of the individual as well as the method of delivery.
Yep.
And in that moment, I was like, okay, so basically this excerpt is telling me Violet's resorting to poison for like helping her way through this. She now is going to be able to find the list of who it is that she's going up against, thanks to Brennan. And then something is going to happen because they're saying, like, only masters get poison right. And as far as we know, Violet's never poisoned anybody before. She might, like, have read about it, but she's at least not, like, a master. So I'm like, something is going to go wrong with this. But anyway...
I don't know if you've picked up on this, but I actually really love including all the names of the people because I don't know if you've noticed, but like some of these names, like Medina, like that's like Spanish last name. So it's kind of like as the world is being built, it's not just like there's more to it than just like our preconception of like what fantasy is, like medieval Europe.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm like kind of excited to see where else like things go. It just helps you paint a better picture of what everybody looks like.
Well, and
what everybody like when like when authors try to say like someone's from this region and you try to find like what the real world
like
equivalent would be. You know?
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Is she describes Rhiannon kind of Arabic.
Yeah.
This like she's tan. She's got the dark skin. You know, like the dark eyes. The dark hair. That I was like, oh, okay, so she's like Arabic of some kind in like our world. You know. Yes, I do that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this cracked me up though. That like Violet wakes up early because she has kitchen duty and Rhiannon's bed is empty and she's like, well, at least someone is getting orgasms around here. And you're like, like, oh my God. But anyway, so Violet has kitchen duty and Dane like walks her to kitchen duty. And they of course run into Rhiannon on the way back from her little rendezvous with this other girl, Tara or Tara, however you want to say it. And it was so funny because Violet and Rhiannon have this little moment, put your finger out, where they're basically like, yes! And when Rhiannon's like walking back to her bed, she's like,
you go, girl.
Yeah, she was like, I see you. Okay. But anyway, they have this cute little moment where Dane is like, monitoring the sex lives of first years was not what I had in mind when I applied to be a squad leader. And Violet's like, oh, come on, like you weren't a first year yourself last year. And he's like, fair point. And
he blushes a little bit. Did you notice?
Yeah, and she says that he like lifts his brows like a little bit and is like, fair point. And you're a first year now, kind of trying to be like, are you seeing somebody? And she's like, why, Dane Ados, are you asking me about my sex life? And that's when he's like, and he's like, no. I mean, is there a sex life to talk about? And it was just cute. And she's like, since I got here, that's none of your business. Before I got here, still none of your business.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is probably her way of being like, no. Like, of course not. But she's got.
But she's not going to be just like, no. She has to make it difficult.
Exactly.
Because I understand. You can't let him know that you're carrying a torch for him.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I think it's so cute how, like, when she thinks of him, she's like, her chest tightens. And then when he sees her, like, his eyes light up and he, like, gets off, like, he's, like, leaning against the wall and, like, gets up or whatever.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, like, I'll tell you more as we progress.
Oh, okay. So all we basically figure out, so Dane is saying, like, I always worry about you. And she's kind of like, don't. Like, I can handle myself. And he's like, I just don't want to see you get hurt again. And she's like, then don't watch. You can't save me from this. I'm going to be challenged because they have their first challenge today on the mat. And she's like, I'm going to be facing this every week. Like, you can't stop this from happening or be there to like rush me to the hospital every time.
Yeah.
And of course they're like not, so like he still doesn't agree. He still is like trying to like push her to go to the scribe quadrant. Anyway, he's telling her like steer clear of Jack Barlow. And it's funny because he's like just steer clear of him, and she says, she's narrates, I blink. The advice is so different from Xaden's throw a few daggers at his head approach. And then she's like, Xaden. And she's like, ooh, like, why am I thinking about him right now? And she's getting like little stomach twisties. And she's like, what is going on right now? But it is interesting that she immediately made that parallel of like, well, that's not the advice that Xaden wanted me to follow kind of thing. So immediately she's starting to like compare, which is never a good thing for men when they start getting compared in a woman's mind, you know?
Never a good thing.
And Violet's like, or Dane is like, Violet, did you even hear me? And because she's like daydreaming about Xaden, and you're like, but anyway, she says that she pocketed her vial of the dried powdered faunally berries and sprinkles it over this guy Oren Seifert's scrambled eggs. Yeah. And you're like,
which is why she wanted breakfast duty and cafeteria duty.
Yeah. So, okay, they're going...
Smart little cookie.
Is this now they're already going to the mat or no? Oh, no, this is when they're in Professor Kaori's class, who is the, like, a Fantastic Beasts professor, basically.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, like, all the different types of dragons. And this is where it's confirmed that Gale is, like... Xaden's dragon, which Dane already confirmed that, but now it's confirmed to, like, everybody.
Yeah.
That is Xaden's dragon, and that dragon is not to be messed with. If you ever see that dragon or another dragon like it, which you probably won't because they're super rare, you don't even try it. You just run and pray for your life, basically.
Yeah. And I love that they were like, she doesn't follow the rules. Like his dragon, it's like they're not supposed to bond with relatives of like former riders, and she doesn't care, and she's bonded to relatives of former riders before.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's supposed to be one of those things where it's like you shouldn't be like a dragon only for one family.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I guess it's like one of those things to kind of like not redistribute power, but like you just shouldn't show a preference like that.
Yeah. So then this is where I have predictions.
Girl.
Because Jack, the first year next to Jack is like, what about that black dragon? Because the professor kind of is able to like project his mental image of something he's seen. So he's showing them images of the dragons that he's seen before. And it kind of, in my head, is like a little hologram of them that and it's like, it's like a mini version of the dragon where it's like 5 feet tall.
But it's still 5 feet tall.
Yeah. So they're like looking at it, and Jack is like, ooh, I want that one. And the professor's like, well, not that it's gonna happen, but since this is the only time you'll ever see him, and here is the only other black dragon besides General Melgren's. So we know, okay, there's one black dragon that's already bonded to General Melgren, and here's this other black dragon.
And General Melgren is the one who can predict the end of battles.
The outcome of battles. He can predict the outcome of battles, which is very interesting. And this dragon is a Morning Star tail. And so he has a lot of bludgeoning power, but also like eviscerating a person as well as a dagger. He's like the perfect combination of a club tail and a dagger tail.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, well, that's interesting. He's also super rare. And the professor is like, well, I haven't seen him in a while. And so they start talking about like black dragons, and they say they're the smartest, the most discerning, the rarest, and there has not been one born in the last century. And I was like, okay, so that's Violet's dragon. Yeah.
I literally highlighted it and go, she gonna get him.
Yeah.
Like that's the dragon Jack Barlow wants is the dragon that Violet's gonna get, and I guarantee he's probably gonna die trying to get that dragon or something like it.
Yeah.
And she's gonna
pew
pew.
Yeah. And this is why this dragon is going to be Violet's. Because they say they're the most cunning. There's no such thing as outsmarting a black dragon. And I was like, they're perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Because that dragon is going to look at her and be like, this girl is fucking smart.
Yeah.
And I like her.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like an even match in that sense. Yeah, so he's a little over 100, which makes him like middle-aged. So now this is interesting. It says he's revered as a battle dragon among their kind, and if not for him, we probably would have lost during the Tyrish rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
And this was kind of, I hadn't had the thought as early as you did about Violet being on the wrong, or like on the other side of the war, but this is where I had the thought, is the dragon is going to bond Violet to try and right his wrong.
Yeah.
That he was on the wrong side of the rebellion when it happened before, and now is going to try and fix it.
Yeah. And then there was something here that I highlighted, and it was like, I think we're a little bit, I think I might be a little bit ahead of it, but they started talking about another dragon. Oh, the previous rider. The previous rider of that black dragon was, I forgot the name, but he basically was
Naolin. Naolin. He had a signet called Siphoning.
Yes, he could absorb powers from various sources of other dragons and other riders and then redistribute it, which made him really powerful.
Right.
And now the thing was that the professor's talking and he says, how did this person die? Because the dragon hasn't had a rider since. And he says, he attempted to use that power to revive a fallen rider, which didn't work, but there's no signet capable of resurrection, and depleted himself in the process. So it's like he burned out, basically.
Yeah.
And when I read that, I literally put, it's Brennan. Like, he's the rider that the guy tried to resurrect. And then later on in that chapter, like, we find out that it's true. Like, Brennan was the rider that this guy was trying to resurrect. And we don't know why. Because, you know, some of the reasons that are thrown out there is the fact that, like, you know, Brennan, everybody knows that that's Sorrengail's, like, son. So to owe a favor, like, for them to owe a favor to you is something really powerful and, like, you know, that it would benefit you. The glory of being able to resurrect someone also is a thing. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, they were either best friends and platonically loved each other, or they actually loved each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Or do we know what Brennan's signet was?
Not yet.
Maybe he was maybe Brennan was like a one of one. And this guy wanted to channel Brennan's signet. Like, whatever power Brennan had, he was like, you can't die because I'm going to lose the ability to channel this power in the future.
I see. And maybe they needed that power for something else.
Yeah, and it was like I think it might have been like, I figured there was malice behind it. I assumed that he was trying to keep Brennan alive for, like, malintention. Yeah. Because Violet is like, why would he do that? When we know that resurrection is, like, impossible, like, why would he do that? You know? And
interesting.
Yeah. And I just felt that, like, there was something
malice
behind it.
I think that's interesting because I think it's definitely written in the way to make you think that it's malice. Because of the doing something for the glory of resurrecting somebody at the cost of you dying when you have an already powerful dragon and that can siphon powers off of other people and redistribute them. Like, that's pretty badass. And also the thing of, like, well, Sorrengail would owe you a favor. I'm like, okay, I just didn't buy it.
Yeah.
I just don't think that any of those things, if it's a smart character and it seems like this writer writes smart characters, if it's a smart character, then I simply don't believe that the reasons would be something so trivial as a favor from a Sorrengail, knowing that you would probably die in the process, or glory.
No, I thought it was that he wanted Brennan's power. Whatever it was. I don't think we know yet what Brennan's signet was.
Yeah. I think, to me, I was like, the only reason why someone would resurrect someone else or try to is love.
Yeah.
So I was like, so the inability to accept that someone has gone.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I would think that somebody would do that, knowing that they would probably die in the process.
Fair enough.
So maybe it doesn't have to be love for Brennan, but maybe Brennan had a special signet that could do something for this other guy's loved one.
Yeah. Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then we get this little moment where the professor is basically like, I taught both of your siblings, and like, Brennan was a spectacular rider and a good man. Mira is shrewd and gifted in the seat when it comes to riding. He said, but you're smarter than both of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so even the professor sees it, that I'm like, how is she not going to bond this black dragon that is supposedly the most cunning and smart of all of them?
Yeah. And it was when we learned about this dragon, like the special power that it had for this other guy, the siphoning and redistributing, that I was like, maybe she's not gonna be a mender.
Yeah.
Like when I read this, I was like, mending just seems to be, even though they say it's rare.
Yeah.
It just seems to be not.
She wouldn't bond with a dragon like that and become a mender. You know, like it just doesn't make sense.
Maybe it'll be in her wheelhouse of things that she can do.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the main thing. Yeah. But I still stand on my conviction that I think whatever dragon she bonds with, first is going to have to strengthen her body. Yeah. I think that there's going to be that caveat.
Yeah, I agree. And basically the professor is like, well, Violet kind of tries to shake him off and be like, okay, yeah, but being smart isn't going to like bond a dragon to me. And he was like, not all strength is physical. And I was like, okay, yeah. So now they go to the challenge.
Oh, look, I just wanted to write like, that's exactly why he's going to choose her.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, thank you, but being smart and compassionate the compassionate part is why I highlighted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which adds to the theory of like, this war is going to get flipped on its head.
Yeah. Oh, because he called her compassionate because the professor knows that she's helping Rhiannon study. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I would be willing to wager that not only are you smarter than them, but you're more compassionate than your siblings. And she was like, well, cunning and compassion aren't exactly going to help me, are they? And he was like, well, actually, they might.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And yeah, and I wonder if the compassion is partly why, like, there's bad blood due to misunderstanding somewhere. Mm-hmm. And somebody ended up on the wrong side of this rebellion because of misunderstanding. Who it was, I'm not quite sure yet, but I have a feeling it has to do with that dragon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah. So now they go to the challenge. And Violet does her challenge and she's fighting this guy, Orin. And all of a sudden, he's looking like he's a little green. Like he don't feel too good. And he pukes everywhere and she's able to like get him pinned and like force him to yield. And she's like, oh, I won. Yeah. Like, it actually worked.
Yeah.
So now it's, like, confirmed. Like, okay, she poisoned him, and she got the timing right.
And it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, the rest of that chapter is a montage of Miss Violet kicking ass by poisoning people.
Yes.
And making it, like, difficult for them to, like, fight her.
And she wins, like, 5.
Yes, and she wins 5, and she's collecting, like, all these knives and daggers from her opponents.
Yeah.
And then...
her timing was not so good.
Miss Violet made a calculation error. Yeah. And the girl she was supposed to fight got a little too sick too soon.
Yep.
And so she was going into the challenge, into the mat, and the professor's like, so-and-so is like in the infirmary right now, so you don't have anyone to fight. And she's about to step off the mat, and here comes Shadow Daddy Zayden to be like, I can fight her.
Yep.
I was like, oh my gosh.
He's like, I'm happy to step in, and you're like, of course you are.
And he's her wing leader, so she can't say no.
And Dane can't say no either. And Dane is still, like, he doesn't know about the conversation that happened between her and Zayden, where he's like...
because it's a secret.
Exactly.
Because Dane would probably spread them out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Or, yeah, exactly. So, I love this. Chapter 9, Violet Sorrengail's personal addendum to the Book of Brennan. I will not die today. Very well said, Violet. Very well said.
Love it.
Yeah. So chapter 9 was great.
It starts with, I'm so completely screwed.
Like, that's what we were wishing. Okay, but this scene got spicy.
The scene got spicy, and I'm like, yo, there's like people around you. Chill out.
Okay, so basically, Xaden, she's like, Xaden steps forward, all 6 foot everything of him, and he's in his midnight fighting leathers and a tight fitted short sleeve shirt that only seems to make the shimmering dark rebellion relics on his skin seem like an even bigger warning, which I know is ridiculous, but somehow true. And this whole time I'm like, he's glittering.
Like it's like in Twilight. I am a vampire.
This glitter. Is the skin of a killer, Violet. Stop. So anyway,
this is the skin of a killer. No, it's because that moment in Twilight was so cringe.
I know.
The skin of a killer.
I know. Oh God.
Oh.
But anyway, she's like,
oh my
well, the professor's like, Xaden's one of the best fighters we have, so you guys are all in for a treat. Watch and learn.
And Dane's like, I hardly think this is fair.
Yeah, and Xaden's like, fuck him, relax, like sit down, lapdog, kind of thing, you know. And I was like, yeah. He says she'll be in one piece when I'm done teaching her. And I was like, interesting. Like, what are you going to teach her? And he basically goes through, like, disarming her, like, gives her all these opportunities to, like, approach him, try to, like, get one up on him. And every time he, like, disarms one of her blades from her. Mm-hmm. And does it in a way where he's, like, whispering to her, like, kind of like, that move was a mistake here.
Yeah.
Where no one else can hear that he's actually teaching her.
Yeah. But they just think that he's playing with her.
Yes, exactly. That she's a plaything.
But he's giving her corrections as they're going.
Yes. And then we get...
But it's corrections that are like veiled, like they're disguised as being snarky remarks to get under her skin.
Yes.
So it takes her a second to realize that he actually is teaching her. He's just being a little bit of a jerk about it.
Yeah. And she, like, draws a knife and tries to, like, is about to go for him with the knife. And then he, like, grabs her wrist and he's like, ooh, going for blood today, are we, Violence? And I was like, oh, that's adorable. He has a pet name for her.
You know what it reminded me of? Like, I just felt, okay, I like this guy.
Obviously, I like this guy.
But I like this guy because, honestly, this is going to sound so stupid, but when he said that, I was like, I understand how the mind works when you take a name and you, like, make it to something else. Because, like, my roommate's cat, his name is Loki. And every time I see him coming, I go, hey, locomotive, come here.
Yeah.
You know, and Aaron's cat, his name is Bo. And I, for whatever reason, instead of shortening something, was like, Bosif.
Yeah.
I call him Bosif. I call him Bobo Bonobo.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, when he called her Violence, I was like, this tickles a part of my brain that I very much enjoy.
Yeah.
Because it was just so perfect.
Yeah. And of course, she's like, oh, my name is Violet. And he's like, I think my version suits you better.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
I
loved it.
Yeah. So she's like getting like angry as they're going through this like progression of him like slowly but steadily taking, because she's got like 9 knives at this point, and so he's slowly like,
it's embarrassing,
plucking them all off of her, but he's not even taking them and turning them against her. He's like just kicking them to the side.
Well, and he's kicking them at Dane's feet.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, that's extra sassy.
Yeah.
It's the epidemic of the sassy man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And so it kind of like the, you see me pluck this one off of your girl too, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, you see me take another one off of her. Aren't you seething that you can't do anything about it? You know, like
but also on a very, that's on the superficial fun side.
Yeah.
On a serious note, he's throwing the daggers at his feet to say, she's here and she's not prepared.
Yeah.
So maybe like it's time to stop all the protecting and start like arming her to survive.
Stop coddling her. Yeah. And so he like leans in and he's like, taking your enemy out before the battle is really smart. I'll give that to you. And she's like, oh shit, he knows what I've been doing. And he's like, but you're not testing yourself in here, and that's not how you're gonna get better.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you've survived, but this is not how you're gonna get better. And I was like, ooh, like he actually kind of seems like he wants to help her.
And he gives her like logical tips of like, you're small and all your movements are way too big. Yeah. You should have gotten me here, and here, which is like closer to the torso.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we get to this point where she's going for one of her daggers and he's got her pinned on the ground. But he's got her pinned and like is like like, how do I explain this without sounding too vulgar?
I know. Like, it's okay, so no, he's got her pinned
with like his body weight.
But she has her legs wrapped around him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's not have to be like, you know, like that. If you've ever seen like wrestling or like jujitsu or anything like that, it's just kind of like sometimes like you grasp somebody by, like sometimes you hold on to somebody with your legs and like you like pin them down and they're trying to get out of your grasp. And it's like that's just like it's standard.
But he's very like between her legs.
But it's okay. The only reason why it's like doesn't feel as like sterile or like
it's her reaction
to it. It's because she kind of liked it.
She said, "Oh."
It's because she kind of like liked it.
Yeah.
And like was into it. So it was like, ah!
Yeah.
And this is not a time to be reacting like that. No,
exactly. Yeah. And so he's like getting in her face, like really close to her face. And of course, everybody's watching this. And this was the part that like made it spicy is for a second, they get like sucked into their own little world where it's like they forget that everybody is watching them. And he's like, this is where he's teaching her. He's like, you're tiny. Stop going for the bigger moves that'll expose you. You should have got me in the kidneys, like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you're not gonna have time to offer tea to like some Gryphon rider when they come for you. And she's like, how did you know that I was poisoning them? And he was like, you're good, but I've known better poison masters, and the trick is not to make it too obvious. So she thought she was being so stealthy, and
I had a feeling because she poisons like 3 people, and I was
like 5.
Like, and I was like, I had a feeling. I was like, you're telling me none of the professors have noticed that like why does everybody that fights Violet get sick? Yeah, like that's just not like no one has like had that because it's not just like little things. It's like they look green, they're hallucinating, they get sluggish. To
her credit, she poisons them all differently.
Yes, she does make it all different.
And in that moment, I was like, okay, like she is going about it in a smart way that she's making them all present differently.
Never use the same trick.
Yeah. And some of them, it might not even really like show up. Like
it's more like vertigo.
Yeah, like, and you can't, so many of these people are like, I'm tough, like I will fight through it, like even if they don't feel good. So they probably didn't say anything until it was too obvious or whatever. Or like, you can't, like, I could look at someone and say like, yeah, they're bleeding. I can't look at someone, just look at them and say that person's hallucinating. Mm-hmm. You know? So like some of that, it's like, well, how do you prove it? Or how do you know it's there kind of thing without, especially knowing that some of these are like rough, tough people that are trying to prove themselves, and they're not going to say, hey, like I'm hallucinating right now. And heaven forbid they look weak because they're like, I can't fight right now.
Yeah.
You know? So I think to her credit, she did a pretty good job. He's just watching her like a hawk.
Yeah, he is watching her like a hawk.
And is like putting 2 and 2 together that he's like, ain't no way that this bitch is winning all of these fights. Like there's something else going on here. And then is able to like put it together that she's poisoning them. Yeah. And she has this, so like anyway, they get snapped back into reality, and she's like, oh my god, like Dane is over there like seething because Zayden is like literally on top of me, like in a compromising position.
Wait, I gotta stop you right now because this cracked me up. She goes, when they're like in that compromising position, she says, I swallow, refusing to think of other things that are a good fit at this angle. And I was like, girl, I literally wrote, I'm dead, lol.
Yes.
This is not the time.
She's into it. She would let that man do some unspeakable things to her.
Girl.
But it's like they have this moment of him being like, you gotta be better. And they're like sucked into she says that he's like inches from her face. So he's talking to her like this. I would have done it to you, but I'm afraid my breast stinks.
Girl, same. Don't even worry.
So anyway, he's like this to her talking, and they're like sucked in their own little world and like flirting because he's calling her violence
and
like,
whispering.
And they're whispering that no one else can hear.
Yeah.
And Dane is like, like, I think she's been taught enough for today. And you're like, oh, he's getting jealous. And so they like snap out of it. And of course, Xaden's like, yeah, is he always that overprotective? And she's like, he cares about me. And he's like, but he's holding you back. And then he's like, don't worry, I'll keep your little poisoning secret. And then he basically says to Dane, like, maybe it's time for you to stop protecting her and start teaching her because clearly she's defenseless. And I was like, oh.
How embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly. How embarrassing.
Like, F you, dude.
Exactly. And so Dane is like, I'm just like surprised that he let you live. And they're like having this moment where he's like, she's in his bedroom and he's like massaging a knot out of her. And she's like, it hurts deliciously. And I was like, I know exactly how that feels because I go and get massages. And when I've got a bad knot, I'm like, it fucking hurts, but it also feels so good. Please to get it out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, she's like, I don't think he really would have got like respect by snapping my neck on the mat. So she is kind of trying to like play off like why he let her live, even though I feel like at this point she doesn't really think he's going to kill her anymore.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Like I think she's starting to realize that like
there's more to him.
Yeah. Yeah. And that he's like starting to like look out for her in a way where he's like kind of taking interest in her, whether it's like, I mean, it's not super obvious that it's romantic other than like pet names or like whatever, but at least it's
more like I'm intrigued.
Yes, I'm intrigued, but it's also kind of like he's treating her like any other one of these first years that he mentors.
Yeah.
You know, like he sees like that he's like, I don't want to watch another person die and this one needs help. You know, like it's kind of the vibe it's starting to give. Because he has that moment where he recognizes,
like, I think he and everybody recognizes that she needs physical help.
Yeah. But also there's this moment where that later on that we'll get to, that he basically is like, every day that you live, I feel like less of a horrible person.
Yes, I remember that.
And so I'm wondering if like he is feeling this like change of heart where he's like, doesn't matter if she's the child of like my father's enemy.
Think about how many people he's seen die.
Yeah.
He's probably tired of seeing people die.
And like, why does this person have to die just because no one's helping them and who their parent is?
Yeah.
You know, like they understand each other in that way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why does someone have to die just because of who their parent is?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a little bit of like change of heart there. And so let's see.
It's getting kind of hot, by the way.
Oh yeah, the air probably changed. They're like kind of talking about Xaden, blah, blah, blah. And
I think the biggest thing in this one is that when she gets alone with Dane in his room, he kind of drops the bomb of like, I talked to the scribe master and they would be willing to let you like join them even at this point in time.
Yeah, he says, I saw a way to get you out of danger and I took it. And because she was talking to Markham, which is like the overall person of the scribes. He's like their like headmaster or whatever word you want to use.
She was supposed to be his star pupil.
Yes, exactly. And let's see, where does he... Okay, so she had this thing where someone put like mutilated violet flowers on her bed as like a threat. And she was like, everybody gets threats, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, every cadet doesn't have to wrap their knees every day. And she's like, well, the injured ones do. And she's like, why would you tell the scribe guy about I told him that I think Xaden wants you dead kind of thing, because she got that like kind of like death threat, if you will, about the violets.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, he's like, I asked him if he'd allow you back into the scribe quadrant for your own safety, and he said yes. They'd put you with the first years. It's not like you'd have to wait until next year on conscription day or anything. Like, they would just throw you in with the current first years. And she's like, what? Like, you did what? And he's like, I saw a way to get you out of danger, and I took it. And she's like, you went behind my back because you think I'm not cutting it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Dane knows me better than anyone, and he still thinks I can't do this after I've made it this far. And like is having this moment of like, yo, what the fuck?
How am I supposed to believe in myself
if you don't even believe in me? Or like, why? Like, she's getting very upset about it. And he's like, I never said that I don't think you can cut it. And she's like, but you say it every day. You say it like when you walk me from formation to class, even though I know it makes you late and you get in trouble for it. Or like, yeah, you say it when you yell at your wing leader, because Xaden is their wing leader, when he takes me to the mat. And she's like, he's my wing leader. He has the right to do whatever he wants. And because Dane tries to be like, oh, he had no right to. And she's like, no, he's the wing leader. He has the right to do like whatever he wants.
Yeah. Like any other cadet.
Yeah. And she's like, I've held my own so far. Like, I've won every challenge. And he's like, yeah, except for today when Xaden wiped the floor with you. And she's like,
which, you know, a third year is supposed to wipe the floor with a first year.
Yeah, exactly. And
like, I would hope you would.
Yes. And he's basically like, threshing is not just about bonding a dragon. They throw all the first years into the training grounds. And then the second and third years are supposed to watch as you decide which dragons to approach and which ones to run from. And she's basically like, he's like, yeah, well, the riders are watching. The first years are taking out their vendettas and eliminating any liabilities to the wing, which is like, you know, that's something that like Jack would pull on her kind of thing, is like trying to attack her. And she's like, I'm not a liability. And he's like, not to me, but they don't know you the way that I do. And there's first years like Barlow and Seifert that are like hunting you. And I will have to watch on the sideline. Like, I won't be able to intervene. And he's like, just promise me you'll think about going. And she ends the chapter with like, I'll think about it. And this chapter pissed me off. I was already not on the Dane train. And like, I officially was never going to get on board after this chapter. Because I can't stand it when a man won't get off his high horse and help her. Instead, he thinks that keeping her like weak and helpless is helping her. And I can't stand that. I hate it. After this, I was like, I hate Dane. I hate Dane. Absolutely. I want nothing to do with him anymore. I don't. And I really don't. I really don't. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I like, it's like, I can't stand it when these like male like love interests look at the female character and are only looking at an older version of them. He's not accepting her growth.
Okay, yeah.
He's like thinking of her only as the girl he knew before becoming part of the Rider Quadrant.
Yeah.
And it's like he has no inability to like see her grow and change and who she could become if he simply helped her. And I can't stand that. I can't stand that. It's like either grow with her or like leave her alone. But he's trying to like shove her back into who she was.
Because he's not on board the train of you're gonna be a rider. He's on the train of let's keep you alive.
Yeah.
So those are two diverting trains. And until he gets on board with the train of you're gonna be a rider, it's like it's never gonna go well. You know?
Yeah.
Now, I could wait for my discussion, but I feel like we don't have to.
Yeah.
So my take is I don't hate Dane.
I don't hate him. It's just like I hate him as the love interest for her.
I think that at this point, like just because of like romanticy and stuff, unless this author throws me like a giant curveball,
no, I doubt that.
Xaden is pretty much set up to be the main love interest.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to be kind of like blind to not see it.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't hate Dane either in him being the love interest. Like if something happened and he turned out to be the love interest, I wouldn't hate it. I think that there's two schools of thought. I think it's really easy for someone like Xaden to look at Violet and to say like, yeah, like do it. Like to build her up and to say like, yeah, like be like, don't hide, be more aggressive, be this, be that. It's more of a risk. Granted, they're in a situation where risk taking is required. You're literally going to ride on the back of a dragon. Like you're going to be risk taking every single freaking day.
Yeah.
But I don't think just yet Xaden should be put on like, not a pedestal, because I don't think that's like what anybody, I don't think that's what you're doing at all. But I think what I'm referring to is like, I can see the argument on social media. I can see the argument in book talk. And the argument is Dane isn't doing anything to help build her up and Xaden is, right? My thing is, it's a lot easier to build someone up in a risky situation when you don't care about them deeply, when you don't love them. Yeah. It's a lot easier to like train someone that you don't know and be tough on them and be like, do this, do that. That's riskier when you are not emotionally tied. Yeah. Dane loves her, whether it's platonic or romantic, whatever. He loves her. Yeah. He has seen her through everything. He has carried her when she's had broken limbs in their childhood because they were climbing trees together and has felt guilty because he was the one that wanted to climb the tree. Yeah. And he has taken her to Menders and all this stuff. So I feel like what's really happening right now is that Dane doesn't understand that Violet already is on the page of I'm going to be a writer.
And wants it.
And now wants it. Yeah. Not like the first day where she was still kind of on the fence about it.
She's like, I'm here against my will.
And he wants her to be safe for his peace of mind. Yeah. But I don't think that makes him, it makes him like, because he kind of comes across a little bit like patriarchal in a way. Yeah. But I don't think that makes him that just yet. Because the way that I see it, I'm like, this is someone that he loves that's in a very dangerous situation. And if we are being 100% realistic, like if we're putting our heads into this world with 100% realism, her body is going to get her killed. Yeah. Because she is just simply like, she gets one good punch to the abdomen, she might actually like bleed internally and bleed out. Yeah. Like this is like serious also. So if you take it from that vein, it's like he's being selfish in the sense of he is allowing his fear for her safety to cloud what she's saying to him and even maybe removing some of her autonomy. Yeah. But you can't look at that and say, like, you can't look at that and say that, like, he's a bad character or, like, even, like, a bad guy.
No. I think he's a one-dimensional character. Mm-hmm. This description of him being like, I have to sit on the side and watch you die is very selfish.
It is very selfish.
It's very self-centered. And then the additional fact that, like, solidified for me that he is not, like, growing with her or allowing himself to realize that she wants this and like if I'm like I should support her, like the best thing I could do is now equip her to survive here rather than keep trying to get her out of this is the fact that it's been 2 months.
Yeah, it has been 2 months.
That was what put the icing on the cake for me.
It has been 2 months.
It's been 2 months at this point. Like she is telling you like
you have to get on board.
Yeah.
It's been 2 months.
Yes.
And she's survived 2 months.
Yes. that was when those two things was what solidified for me that he is a one-dimensional like male character as a love interest that sees the her that he used to know and is not growing with her into the person she's becoming.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, she's leaving him behind.
Yeah.
She's growing beyond him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, granted, like something may change. Who knows? But at least as of right now, at the end of this 10 chapter chunk, he ain't cutting it for me.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I prefer Xaden as the love interest. It makes more sense.
Yeah.
But I just feel I empathize with Dane. I understand where he's coming from. I understand that it's selfish. Yeah. I understand that it's removing Violet's autonomy.
Yeah.
I also understand that she loves him too.
Yeah.
She loves him too. And I think that right now, Zane doesn't get brownie points Zane, sorry. Wow! Zayden. Xaden doesn't get brownie points right now for being the guy to push her for me.
No.
Because I'm like, it doesn't take guts to push somebody that if they died tomorrow, you might be like, oh, that kind of sucks, but you won't grieve. Dane would grieve her until the day he died. Yeah. Dane would grieve her so much that if he had a daughter, he'd probably name her Violet.
Yeah. I think my thing... Yes, I agree. And Xaden is not like I'm not fully on like the Xaden train. Like, okay, yes, I'm like, oh my god, he's spicy. Yeah. Okay, sure. Right now he's kind of neutral. Yeah. You know, like he's done some things where you're like, okay, he like wants her dead, but now he's done some things where he's helping. So I'm like, okay, he kind of...
Has he ever done something where he wants her dead?
Just like on day one, he kind of like voiced it.
But he didn't intervene.
No. You could argue, like, why did he move her squad to fourth wing? Like, who knows? But
sometimes you just want to mess with people.
Yeah, you never know.
Mischievous.
So he's kind of like neutral right now in my brain as far as like being good or bad for her.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, you're like, ooh, like spicy, but at least he's neutral in that sense.
Yeah.
The thing that also really tipped Dane in the negative direction for me is the way that this chapter ends where she's like, I'll think about it. I was like, oh, she compromised the boundary.
Yeah. I think that she just,
she compromised the boundary.
She compromised it. I don't think she's actually she's not actually considering it. She said that to end it.
But I can't stand when men won't realize that they also need to do some compromise. I shouldn't say men. Like anyone in a partnership knows that like you can't always have your way. And why is it though that when someone is like Violet is like, I'm going to be a writer, I want to be here now, I want to do this, why does she have to be the one to cave?
Yeah.
Why is he not the one that has to cave?
Yeah. Well, I understand what you're saying. Violet's not gonna cave though. Okay. She placated. Oh, that's really what it is. She placated for the time being to end the conversation, but
which is still unexcusable. Like to put her in the situation where she has to placate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely coming from a selfish place.
Yeah.
It's a place, it's like, it's a mix. It's, I love you, I don't want to see anything bad happen to you, but it's also selfish.
Yep.
And it's also in the same vein, she could turn around and be like, why didn't you decide to be a scribe, inventory or infantry or a healer?
Yeah.
Why did you choose to be a dragon rider? What about me? Do you think that I wanted to read the paper on conscription day and see that you had died when you fell falling from the parapet? Like, do you think that I want to know that you're off to war? I lost a brother.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know I lost a family member to this war, like, and then I lose you too. Like, she can turn around and say the same thing, which she doesn't.
Yeah.
I have a prediction.
That he's gonna die?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dane's gonna die.
Absolutely.
And I wonder if me knowing he's gonna die is gonna make it less heartbreaking, or if I'm gonna cry. Like, I wonder what emotions I'm gonna feel. But he's gonna die.
I feel like, yes, I feel like I'm usually pretty spot on with a lot of my death predictions in other books that we've read. And I feel like this one is like, he's gonna die. Like, I don't know that I would feel, I don't know. Okay. When I've predicted book deaths in the past, I'm not sad about them. I'm like, yeah, I saw that coming, and so should have you. Like, kind of thing. So I don't know. It might depend on what kind of mood I'm in that day and how he dies, if it makes me real sad. But
I've seen deaths coming, and I think I'm not gonna care, and then I care. And then I've had characters that I thought I didn't care about, and then they died, and I was like, sobbing.
Yeah. I feel like my thing is when I don't see a death coming, regardless of how attached to the character I was, it usually hits me pretty hard. But the ones that I see coming, usually I'm like, well, I could have told you that was going to happen. And then I'm like, and then I keep reading.
Yeah.
Which makes me probably sound super heartless, but that's just like the way that I am with them. So yeah, I feel like I'm already like on the like.
How do you think Dane's gonna die?
Probably trying to intervene with her threshing.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, if it's in this book, who knows? There's 3 books in the series. He might not die in this one.
I was gonna say that I think Dane would probably die either because of a mistake that Violet makes, or him trying to save her. Maybe not a mistake that she makes, but he actively chooses to save her and like sacrifice himself. I think that's how he's gonna die.
Yeah. Could be. I'm wondering if it's gonna be something where like it's a misunderstanding where he thinks that she needs saved.
And she doesn't.
And then he like she has a plan.
He gets in the way.
And he gets in the way and he ends up dying.
Oh my gosh. I feel so bad for some of people like listening into our podcast, because we're on chapter 9 and we're like, he's gonna die. And if he dies, and you know it's like when somebody reads a book and they're not like picking up on this stuff.
Yeah.
And they see our podcast and they're like, I loved Dane. Yeah. He's gonna die.
Yeah, because there are some people who at this point are probably like really on the Dane train. And I just am like, okay, like, yeah, I'm bashing him pretty hard, but that's because like of bigger like things that I feel like Violet is more capable than he's giving her credit for. It's been 2 months, like he's being selfish, like all these things. But okay, he's a very realistic man. Like he really is, and he's not malicious. He's just like his heart's in the right place, but he's executing it poorly.
Yeah. I feel compassion for him.
Yes.
And empathy.
And it makes me wonder if, like, okay, maybe he would have been a good fit for Scribe Violet.
Yeah.
But he's not a good fit for Rider Violet.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. It's like fate going in one way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like, yeah. Okay, that's my rant about Dane. Is that your rant about Dane?
Yeah.
We're done? Okay.
That was my, like, because sometimes I feel like, and not us, obviously, but like sometimes on the internet or TikTok or Instagram or whatever, I feel like it's very easy to look at like the male protagonist as trying to provide a protector role.
Yeah.
And like within some of the books that we read, it's like they not automatically are the bad guy, but they kind of get like twisted and turned.
Yes.
And I just don't think that archetype is bad.
I think, okay, so what I should clarify is I have no problem with him trying to protect her as long as he's protecting her through the life that she wants to live.
Yeah.
And so if she is like, I now want this for myself and want to be a writer, then he should say, all right, I guess I'm not going to convince you not to do this. Let me now protect you. Find another way
to like,
help
equip you.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Which would be training her, really. And I mean, if he could find some magical way to not make her so broken, like fragile, then great.
That would be great, yeah.
But realistically, teaching her more how to fight against these people who have been raised their whole life to learn how to fight, like, that's my thing, is the, not that it's bad for him to be a protector, it's the not growing with her, where I have beef.
He's being misguided right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's malicious. I think he's being very nearsighted and is not listening to her when she's trying to be like, yo, but like, I want this.
He's listening to his fear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's trying to say like, I want this, and he's not listening.
Getting on board.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so our last chapter is chapter 10, and we get page 46 from the Book of Brennan. Says, don't underestimate the challenge of the Gauntlet, Mira. It's designed to test your balance, strength, and agility. The times don't matter for shit, only that you make it to the top. Reach for the ropes when you have to. Coming in last is better than coming in dead. And so we know that the Gauntlet is like some sort of like obstacle course at this point, but this is their like first encounter with the Gauntlet. So their squad is now like, it's their time to like try it out for the first time. And it's basically like, as long as you don't die, from this point on, you get to get familiar with the obstacle course. Yeah, exactly. So that when it comes comes time for the threshing, you can like try and do like your best possible time through it, kind of thing. And of course, they're all like, oh gosh, like, and there's this girl who I say her name is Orelai. Or Orally. I say one of those.
Or I would say Orelai.
Yeah.
But I say her name in Spanish. Like, I don't say her name in Spanish. I couldn't put together in my head how it should sound in English, so I called her Aurelia.
Okay.
Or
I don't think it's correct, but I applaud the effort.
And I was like, Aurelia it is.
No, I've just seen people who their name is Lorelai and it's spelled like this, but without like with the L in front. So I was like, okay, so she's Orelai.
Yeah.
Was kind of like how I reasoned it. Who knows? Yeah. I could totally be wrong.
No, I think her name is Orelai.
Uh-huh.
I do like saying Aurelia though.
Okay, fair enough.
And Aurelie.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I just like it.
Fair enough. And so she's like, this is amazing. Like, I've been training years for this. I'm so excited. And they're all just like, oh shit, like this is gonna be terrible that we have to get through this obstacle course. And so they have the guy Sawyer go first, who like obviously knows the Gauntlet at this point because he's made it all the way through like threshing his first year, and they're like, wow, he did that flawlessly, and see him like demo it.
Made it look easy.
And of course, Violet's so funny. She's like, maybe I won't die on this. And you know, and that she's like, oh, like he made it actually look super easy. Maybe I can do this. And so there's this guy in their group whose name is like Tynan, something like that. And he kind of starts like talking shit about Dane and Violet being friends, and Rhiannon is like, they're not, like, would you shut up? They're not sleeping together. They've been friends since they were kids. Or do you not know enough about our own leadership to know that his dad is her mom's aide? That's the word they use. I was trying to say escort, but they use the word aide. And he's like, oh, like,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. My bad, Barlow. And she's like, well, there's your fucking problem, is you're listening to that jackass instead of someone in your own squad. Like,
which is so, oh my God, you guys need to replay that and like send it in to some kind of casting clip or whatever. Because that was literally perfect. That was what she said. Perfectly acted in every way. Like, that's your first freaking problem, listening to that jackass.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's it. Because she's right. Like, why are you listening to some guy who is clearly out to get people in general? Like, not even real. Just Violet. Like,
also, why are you friends with somebody who's snapping people's necks on day one?
Because they think
they
either join the bully or be bullied.
Bro, but like, you gotta be some kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Because it has to, like, okay, not to digress, but it has to align with your moral compass at some point, right? Like, if you look at someone and you think to yourself, that person snapping necks day one.
I want to be in on that.
Like, are you snapping necks day one? Like, I don't understand how you can see somebody that be so unhinged and not think that that's going to come back to get you.
Yeah.
You can't control crazy. You
Facts.
You can't.
Facts.
You can't control crazy. The best you could do is stay away from crazy.
Facts. Or find the crazy that aligns with you.
Or make crazy think you're crazy so they don't mess with your crazy.
Facts. That works too. Yeah. Yeah. So they're basically like, okay, there's no alternative. Like on threshing day, either you make it up to the presentation, like where it's like they parade the humans out for the dragons. So it's like you either make it up the gauntlet or you don't.
Yeah.
Like, or you die kind of thing. Yeah. So they're like, Sawyer makes it look perfect, and they're like, how the heck do you make it look that perfect and you still get passed up at threshing, you know?
Which when I read that, I was like, poor Sawyer. I hope that he gets his dragon this year. Because I'm like,
this is a side character that I actually really want to know more about.
Yeah, I agree. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And then we also get this guy, Riddock. Or
Riddock?
Riddick?
Riddick.
It's probably Riddick.
Yeah.
Riddick is the like smart ass of their squad. And I was like, him and Sawyer are the two in their squad that I'm like, I want more.
Yeah.
Give me more, please.
Which I find so interesting too, because like Riddick is like not a small guy by any means. But like in my brain, he was like a skinny, like shorter dude.
Little nerd.
Because how can you be that fun?
The funny guy's the nerd usually.
Jock. Yeah, like how are you're gonna give the guy humor and be beautiful? Like
that doesn't go together.
No, it doesn't go together.
That's how you know this book is fantasy.
Yeah, for real. Leave some for the I'm like, leave some for the rest of us. You know, you can't be hilarious, smart, and beautiful. Come on now.
Oh damn, that's good.
What does everybody else have to work with?
Okay. So we get this one little tidbit from Orally that, that one of the obstacles is like kind of a trick where she's like, watch out for these giant posts that are jutting from the side of the cliff. Like they kind of from where they're standing look like stairs, but she says they spin and you could get crushed between them if you're not fast enough. And Violet's kind of like, gee, Brennan, that would have been a nice thing for you to include in your book. Like, what the hell? But she's like, thanks, Orally. Like, you didn't, like, because they don't have to help each other.
No, they don't.
It's kind of understood that you should, like, bond with your squad because they're your squad, but they're also the only squad that has not lost anybody yet.
Yeah.
Everybody is still alive in their squad at this point.
Yeah.
Which is, you're like, someone's not going to be. Anytime they make a mention of like, wow, nobody's died yet, you're like, fuck, why would you say that?
It's like jinxing something.
It
like,
is
knock
like
on
jinxing
wood.
it. So they all have to like go up. It's like, now that Sawyer did the demo, it's like every 1 minute, another one of them gets like sent to start going. And it's like, we say obstacle course, but it's like carved into the side of a mountain.
It's like vertical.
Yes.
And you're like, in what world?
Yes, exactly.
In this world, apparently.
Exactly. They're like weeding out the weak with it. So she's like coaching herself through it, and she's like talking about all this stuff, like how same thing she did on Parapet. She's like, green dragons are known for their keen intellect, descend from the honorable, however you say that line. It's a whole bunch of random letters like strewn together.
Girl.
They come from that line, and they continue to be the most rational of dragon kind, making them perfect siege weapons, especially in the case of clubtails. And Orally is behind Violet, and she's like, are you studying? And she's like, yeah, it keeps me centered as I'm going. It keeps me sane. And I'm like, I mean, good for you. So anyway, she's like continuing to study, and so Orally's like the one behind her, and they get to the obstacle that she told Violet about in the beginning, that the logs look like stairs, but they actually will spin. And she's like, trust me, like, you just have to run straight across this one. If you pause, it'll roll you right off, kind of thing. Which, like, I'm picturing this obstacle of like, okay, if you go quick, it'll kind of teeter behind you, but like you're going so quick that you're not giving it time to twist you, you know? And so she's like, yeah, and like hypes herself up, and she runs all the way up, and she's like, yeah, and Oralai's like, yes, it's my turn now. And like as Oralai's like running up this obstacle, there's like a loud noise from a dragon flying over, and it distracts Oralai just enough that the thing rotates and she falls, and she's not able to catch the rope, and so she falls like all the way basically down the mountain, and it kills her.
Yeah.
And I that one, like, after I read it, I was like, whew, like, I didn't think it was gonna be her.
Okay, I am so glad that you said that.
Yeah.
Because when she dies, I audibly gasped.
Yeah.
And was like, oh! Because I didn't expect it.
Yeah. It's like, okay, looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, I should have put together that she's like talking about this one specific obstacle. She's excited about it.
Hold there, that's the obstacle that gets her.
Yes.
And also you can draw parallels of Dylan.
Yeah.
Being like, I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna propose, da da da. And that like level of optimism and happiness. And then Oralai in that same level of optimism and happiness. And it killed me the fact that her dad is a retired writer, because that means that he made it throughout his entire life.
Didn't die in war,
but lived long enough to not see his daughter die, but to mourn his daughter's death.
Yeah.
And the fact that her brother is also a writer, like, I know that family was like, it's hard, but you're gonna do great and it's gonna be awesome. And there's nothing more
like hyping her up for it.
There is nothing more heartbreaking than having people that love you tell you like it's gonna be great, you're gonna be awesome, it's gonna like be amazing, and then like obviously she dies, so she can't see the aftermath of it.
Yeah.
But like then having to go through the feeling of like that failure is like tough.
Yeah.
And like she's dead, so she doesn't have to go through it.
Yeah.
But it's like
the family will feel this feeling of like, we encouraged her to do this and it caused her to die.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know, some families would be like, meh, the weak ones are dead. You know, like, I don't know.
Maybe in this world.
Yeah, maybe in this world, I don't know. But
to me, I was like, this is tragic.
Yeah.
This is tragic.
Yeah. I was like, damn. Like, I didn't see it coming and was like, oh, like, it was also the way that it happened that Violet, of all people, just ran up the obstacle.
And made it
just fine. But it was the crappy timing of, like...
If that dragon hadn't passed by, she probably would have made it.
Because it, like... It was just that split second.
Enough to distract her.
Exactly.
And you could take it as, like, she was so confident.
Yeah. And it's like, we had the scene that I mentioned earlier about, like, keep this in mind, that they are having these names read when they first got there, and they're all like, come on, like, this doesn't mean anything, let's get it over with.
And now this next one's gonna mean something.
Yep. And now she's like standing there and they're like reading these names, and she's like, I knew that guy, he sat right behind me in battle brief. Oop, like, I knew that guy, he had breakfast duty with me. And then they call Oralai's name, and she's like, well, like, there's the first one of our squad to go, you know, like, yeah, that was rough. And she like decides that she's gonna burn Oralai's stuff, because it says every Basgiath parent has the same option. When their cadet is killed, they can retrieve the body and personal effects for burial or burning, or the school will put their body under a stone and burn their effects themselves. And her family opted for the school to do it. Yeah. So I was like, interesting. Whatever that you could read into, like, whatever.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know? But the family chose to have the school bury her under a stone there and burn her thing. So Violet's basically like, well, I'm the last person that she saw. It should be me.
Yeah.
That burns her stuff. And then she goes down this whole little like mental spiral where like everybody says like, it won't be me. And she says, like, to herself, like, it won't be me, but why? Is it because I'll conquer it? Or because I'll give in to Dane's request and hide in the scribe quadrant? Like, so she's saying, like, I don't want to do that, which makes me question everything. But yeah, she ends up having this encounter where she's coming back down from like the burn bin or whatever that was like at the top of windy, like, yeah, okay. She goes up there, burns the stuff, has her little like existential moment, comes back down and hears these voices coming. I'm like choking on my own like dry throat.
And here's where she sees people making out, right? Just people, probably somebody died and they were like, you know what, gotta live life now.
Exactly, yes, you're right. But she hears these people coming and like chooses to hide in the shadows. And she says that she feels this like prickly feeling. And so she knows Xaden is one of them, this other guy Garrick, and this other guy Body, who are like, Body is Xaden's cousin. So anyway, the three of them are walking, and all of a sudden Xaden like freezes, and she feels that like prickly feeling, and she's like, fuck, he knows I'm here. And so Xaden tells the other two to go on, and he's like, you know, I know you're there, right? And she's like, yeah, I know, you know, I'm here. So anyway, she's like, they have their little like quips with each other, and they're basically like talking about how like she took it hard that Orelai died. And she's like, how can I even, like, I'm not even going to be able to make it up the gauntlet, because he's asking her about how it went. And they have this one where it's like a chimney, and the way most people do it is they like spread like a wingspan around it and like kind of like bear hug and like shimmy up it, basically. And she's like, I'm too small to do that.
He kind of gives the feeling of like, not toughen up Buttercup, but he's like, figure it out.
Yeah, like figure it out. There's more than one way to solve a problem.
Yeah.
You know? And I appreciate that.
Yeah. She was
wallowing.
She was wallowing, but also like, I don't know, because I'm like, dude, it's been less than 24 hours.
Yeah, like, she deserves to be able to, like, grieve a little bit.
But also, this world is not built for being able to do that.
True. Yeah, that's true. It's not an empathetic world.
So, as a person, I look at her and I'm like, I get it. Here's your hug.
Yeah.
But also, I agree with him. Like, stop wallowing in what you can't do and just figure it out. Because there's no other option.
Yeah. And this is where, so I actually really like their kind of like quips with each other. Because she's like, if you're going to kill me, like, would you just get on with it? Like, it's kind of affecting my schedule. And he was like, am I affecting your schedule, Violence? And she's like, well, I just want to know like what my chances are of like survival is what she means. And he smiles and he's like, well, that's the oddest way I've ever been hit on. And she's like, not my chances with you. I mean, my chances of living. Yeah.
Send that to the casting director.
Yeah.
Expeditiously.
Yeah.
I wish you could have seen your face. You were like, it's like you could feel her annoyance.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh.
Yes, exactly.
Meanwhile, I'm here like, that was funny.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, he's like, chances at what? And asks her like multiple times. And he's like, don't make me ask 3 times. And I was like, ooh, like the like commanding kind of voice. Yeah, apparently that's a thing that I like. Shocker. But yeah, he's like, I can't like make it up the gauntlet, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you need to like basically figure it out. Let's see. Oh, but she was kind of like basically saying how like powerful hope is and how this whole time she's kind of felt hopeful. And then now that Orelai is dead, she's like not feeling hopeful, which made me a little sad. And then he basically is like, oh yeah, like, cause your squad mate died. And she's like, how did you know that? And he's like, well, I have shadows, remember? Like, I know everything. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like there's this moment of like, she's being sad. And she should be sad. And he's like listening to her and like wants to know the problem. Like where he's like, Like, what are you, how was your day? Like, what happened today? How did the gauntlet go? Like, all that type of stuff. Like, he's interested, but then he's not pitying, you know?
He's just listening.
Yeah, he's just listening, but then he's also, like, kind of joking around with her, and also is like, all right, but, like, you can't, like, let yourself lie in the dirt. You know? Like, you have to pick yourself up and figure it out because no one else is going to figure it out for you.
Yeah.
Which I actually really appreciated. So anyway, she reiterates that, like, she's not going to tell on his club, like, about his little club that just keeps coming up again. That she's like, I'm not gonna fucking tell. And then anyway,
such a little club.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a club. It's a rebellion. I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah, exactly. And he was.
It'd be so funny if he said that though. Your little club. It's your club. It's a rebellion.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they are going at it.
Yeah, they're having their problems tonight. Okay, she's not hurting him. He's a little brat where he's very vocal, like, Mom, she's hitting me, even though she's not hurting him. So, like, now I just ignore them. But anyway, he's like, you gotta stop, like, wallowing in self-pity. And she's like, myself, what? And he's like, people die. Like, you gotta get over it. And then this is where he's talking about, like, every day that I let you live, or, like, every day that you live.
They're going at it so hard.
I know. I don't know what their problem is. I just ignore them.
Okay.
But he's like, every day that you live, I feel like a little less like an evil person or a bad person kind of thing.
Which makes me think, I wonder what he's done.
Yeah, that he feels guilty about. And then she just ends the chapter like, fuck him, like, walking away. She's the Elmo. Fuck you.
Yeah, literally.
And storms off, where literally all he's trying to do is kind of, like, cheer her up, but also give her, like, a little dose of reality. And that's where we ended.
Yeah. I don't think that he's trying to cheer her up. I think that he's like, I hear you, but, like, this is the world that we're in. Like,
yeah. I think his, knowing that he already knew what happened, his little, like, joking with her was kind of an attempt to, like, cheer her up. You know, because we now know that, okay, because of his shadows, like, he already knew, like, that Orelai died, that she went to go burn her things, like, all that stuff. Which also I'm like,
why does he know?
How much intel is he constantly getting? Like, is he just specifically watching her, or is he, like,
it must
hella monitoring people, you know?
It must be tiring. I there's no way that he's monitoring everybody. I think that he has a select few. Like, maybe he's keeping tabs on, like,
areas.
This is bad to say, but he might be keeping tabs on the kids from the rebellion that he thinks will survive.
Okay.
Maybe he's keeping tabs on, like, the people that he needs to know information on for either, like, blackmail purposes or just needs to know, like, allies of his, because he has to have allies that are not of the rebellion, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some of the professors.
Yeah.
And her.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really know, like, how powerful he is yet.
Or how much of,
like,
an
the
energy expenditure all of that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, but that's where the chapters ended. So
could you imagine if he doesn't even have to keep track of anybody? There's just, like, one group of friends that's super gossipy at this war college, and they, like,
he just listens to them,
and he just listens to them, like, if it was, like, a talk radio show or something.
Hey, that would be pretty strategic on his part.
So funny.
That would be funny.
And then it was, like, when Violet finds out, like, how he does it, he's like, I just listen to them. Like, all he do is talk about other people.
Yeah.
And I get my news super fast.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually.
99% accuracy.
Yeah. Okay, so predictions. We already said we predict the Black Dragon for Violet.
Oh, for sure.
We predict her being on the opposite side of the war.
Yeah.
We predict her, Dane's gonna die.
Yeah. They're gonna get conscripted. I mean, not conscripted. They're gonna be sent to the front lines, like, without finishing war college, for sure.
Yeah. I feel like that's a decent prediction. Let's see.
Sometimes I feel like these predictions feel so obvious.
I feel like it too. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. We predicted that there was something about this issue with General Sorrengail and her saying like that she didn't condone the children of the rebellion having to watch their parents be like put to death. Like I feel like somehow
that's gonna
come back. Yeah.
I am not so confident about my prediction of Violet being a mender just yet.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like it sounded useful in the moment, and then I'm like, okay, now that once you get like a scaffolding of what these powers can be, it's a little like
once you learn more about the world. Oh, and so
unless she is supposed to be a mender, and the whole point is that she's gonna restore something that was before the war started.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
it's not a terrible idea. I feel like my only thought about her being a mender is it doesn't solve the root of her problem. It like enables her to stay weak, kind of thing. And I hate to phrase it that way, but it's kind of the same thing about how
she physically or mentally?
Yeah, physically.
Okay.
Like it enables her to stay physically weak because she's like, I can just mend myself. And it goes against like the revelation that she had where she's like, I need to get strong because I can't keep relying on this mender that's here.
Yeah.
You know, I think it defeats that thought process for then her to be reliant on her mending abilities, you know?
I still think that something about the dragon that she gets will strengthen her physically somehow.
I know, I need a power up. I need a
well, it just has to, because if you're gonna make her so like, if she's gonna have issues where she literally has to bandage her knee from like just like bumping it on like the floor, then I can't. Then she'll never be able to take a hit in battle.
And it makes me wonder, like, we don't get any insight into whether the dragons can tell before they bond someone what the signet would be.
Yeah.
You know, we know the people don't.
Yeah.
But if the dragons can look at her and know what would come of their bond.
Right, because maybe that's how they select.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe one of like,
like what is the product of this bond if it were to happen? That would be kind of interesting to know. I think I would actually be really interested to see if Gale, the blue dragon that is Xaden's dragon, is like buddies with the black dragon.
They're besties.
They're besties or like mates or something. Like that would be cute.
Yeah.
Let's see. I feel like there was something else that
I really like the fact that the black dragon's a boy.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, haha, this fits my theory of balance to the force.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I don't think there were any other predictions that I had off the top of my head. If I did have them, they must not have been like super pivotal ones that I'm not remembering them.
I hope that we get the like reasoning for that the other Rider trying to save Brennan.
That was the one that I had thought of but forgot.
I think at the core of it, it wasn't glory, it wasn't favors, it was some kind of like there has to be some kind of love. That's the only way you would essentially kill yourself to save someone else.
It's not as superficial as they're making it seem. Yes, I 100% agree with that. And now how it actually plays out, who knows?
Do we find out what Mira's signet is?
If we do, I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't think we did. It'll be interesting to see it revealed.
I would have to go back and reread.
I think I would have remembered.
I feel like I would have remembered too, but like I feel like those are kind of important things that now that signets are being talked about, if Brennan or Mira had ones that weren't confidential but were like cool or important, I feel like Violet would have thought about it. Yeah, because we get her inner monologue, so I feel like she would have at least been like, yeah, that's not as cool as my sister being able to do this or that, you know? Like, so I'm wondering if Brennan's was confidential.
Yeah, maybe.
Mira's might be too, I don't know, but we'll see.
Oh my gosh, you know what we should do? As the series progresses, we should think about what our signet would be.
Girl, but it all depends on the dragons. I feel like I gotta learn more about the dragons before I would know.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's not just about the person. It's about, like, both of them.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Because it made it so that you can't go for one dragon to get one power.
Yes.
Because even when they uncouple... Oh, something interesting that they mentioned is, like, the reason why you're dead without your dragon is because after you bond, if your dragon dies, you're dead too.
Yeah, you're died. Yeah, like, you're died.
Yeah. Like, it's like something about your bond is like, it kills you.
It's like tied to your life force now. But a dragon can persist without the human afterwards. And that's why they're able to, like, if they lose a rider,
they can bond to another one.
Yeah, they can bond to another one. Yeah. So it's a very interesting book so far. I feel like
I'm excited to see the politics of the dragons.
Yeah, I'm interested to start getting like their thoughts.
Yeah.
I want to know what Gail was thinking when she like sized Violet up there in the beginning. I think so far I love the writing style.
Yes.
I love that Violet is like super snarky and like witty with her inner monologue. Like, it cracks me up quite a bit. I like that the action is moving pretty quickly. I like that
she's likable.
Yes, I like that she's likable. I like that the world building is not so obnoxious. Like, you can grasp
Slowly.
it. Yeah, you can grasp it without having to like struggle to like keep up with the world building. Yeah. And it comes in very convenient times.
Yeah.
So I like that.
I like that she makes decisions that are smart. And then I like that she's capable.
Yeah.
And even if she, like, you can argue that her decision to be a writer is not smart given her health circumstance. But I actually, like, admire the fact that she has this.
Yeah.
And she's still persisting.
And also, like, she's right. If she goes to the scribe quadrant, her mom's just going to throw her right back in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see how, like, Dane also is not understanding that. Mm. Like, I get that he's trying. Mm.
Well, in this last part, he basically said, like, we can keep it a secret for a year. By then, you'll be inaugurated, and there's nothing she can do about it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that they're going to try and, like, they would try and keep it a secret.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like when she's at this same, like, Basgiath, that's where she's stationed, where the general is stationed. Like,
but remember, they have no contact that first year.
I know, but
unless her mom has like spies.
I was gonna say, it's not like she gets no intel about what's going on. Yeah. So I find it hard to believe that all it would take is
one person.
All it would take is one person, or all it would take is her mom never seeing Violet's name on the list, and her showing up for the presentation day and the threshing and seeing Violet's not there and yanking her out of the scribe quadrant.
Oh, they go to she'd go to the presentation?
I don't see why not.
I don't think they go through to the threshing. I think it's just like you're in the school. I don't think her mom would go to the threshing.
No?
Because they're not supposed to have any contact with their child.
Okay, fair enough.
For that first year.
Yeah, maybe not then. I don't know. But I feel like all in all, I'm super excited for the next chapters.
I am super excited for the next chapters. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm like amazed that we're already like this much into the book.
Yeah.
I like it flew by.
Yeah.
It flew by.
Yeah. Absolutely it did. And hopefully like people didn't hate too much that I immediately was like on the Dane hate train, but we'll see what people have to say about it. Like,
so. Look, I don't think so at all. In fact, I think it's a probably common opinion.
Yeah.
I was just speaking from a perspective of like
you can empathize with him.
Yes.
But you're also more empathetic than me.
Well, and also I have a soft spot for the fuddy-duddies.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, you're being a fuddy-duddy.
I'm like, get on board or leave the station.
Yeah.
Like,
I get it, though.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm excited to see, like, if people have comments about, like, our thoughts on this. Hopefully they do. And then it's, like, maybe some stuff that we can, like, talk about later. But who knows? Do you have any other thoughts?
No other thoughts for this one.
Great. So this was, like, our first episode of Fourth Wing. Very excited. Next time we'll be talking about 11 through 20. So follow along if you're reading at home or if you've already read the book. Like, either way, we will be reading 11 through 20 next time. So never stop reading, and we will see you next time.